time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Thursday. We made it. We made it through the All-Star break, and basketball is back. Spring training has arrived as well. Stiles and Watkins got you till 2 p.m. Simone doing her thing behind the glass for us today as we get you ready for Kings Spurs and also prepare you for it to be a Sabonis-less Kings against the Spurs as they got to find a way to get it done because there are no excuses at this point in time in the season. Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Good. It would be great because obviously basketball is back, but it's not truly Kings basketball if Domantas Sabonis isn't out there. So, just doing all right, but hoping that, I know it's doubtful that he plays, but hoping that maybe he makes a miraculous turn and hopefully he can get some action today because, the Kings, as we talked about ad nausea yesterday and the day before, they cannot afford to just drop games here. And it just makes it a little bit easier to lose a game tonight when you don't have, obviously, one of your best players.
Frankie Cardicelli will join us for the Kings Roundtable at 11:30. No Brendan Nunez today as he is under the weather. There's something going around, so take care of yourself, get that vitamin C up and that immunity, and be safe out there. And we wish Brendan the best, that he feels better. Frankie at 11:30. So you're still holding out hope. Chris, it says doubtful. Why would you do this to yourself?
I'm not really holding out hope, but I'm just saying so you're saying there's a chance is what I'm feeling.
Not for long.
I'm not going to prepare for it, but who knows? It's stranger things have happened, but I definitely would not expect him to play today. I mean, ideally the Kings should be able to get this thing done even without Sabonis. Obviously, he's a huge piece, but if this Kings team wants to be a playoff team, they have to be able to beat teams like the Spurs, even without Domantas Sabonis out there.
Yes, you would think so. But look, these guys, we've seen what they've done with Sabonis on the floor. Yep. You got Wembanyama, I would assume, is just going to eat today. All right. And right now, this is from Sportsbook Wire and USA Today. Kings 9.5. I don't know if that's them assuming that Sabonis will play. This is from this morning, so I guess it'll change again if Sabonis gets officially ruled out. But 9.5. I'm sorry, without Sabonis, if that is them including that, I would stay far away.
I think, I'm looking at a previous breakdown, like a preview of it on ESPN site, and they have Kings as -11. So that's telling me that the line has definitely moved. So that is the new adjusted line, -9.
I don't like that.
That's pretty high.
I don't like that at all, simply because we've seen these Spurs against other teams and against the Kings at least be annoying.
Yes.
At least be pesky to the point where you start to worry a little bit, and then, they make some mistakes. Sohan forgets that Wembanyama's on his team.
They
all do, besides, Trey Jones, right? He's the only one that knows how to utilize Wembanyama right now. And Wembanyama has been off and on a minutes restriction a little bit as well. So you should be okay. Looks like Charles Bassey will be out for the Spurs, and Marcus Morris is not with team. He's out as well. So the Kings should still get it done. I don't care. And this is an opportunity for some of the other guys. This is an opportunity. Kevin Huerter, you want to be a rebounding guard, that's your thing. Go get 9 today.
Yeah.
Go get 9 today. Keegan Murray, get back where you were offensively. Let's get that started. Harrison Barnes, you too.
Big
so
one.
I think all of them are going to have to chip in to get this done. And we were talking in our Kings Roundtable group chat, and either Frankie had brought up that one of the reasons he feels like Sabonis isn't going to play is because of that weird back-to-back that the Kings have right after this, where they go to LA, and then after LA to face the Clippers on Sunday, they come back to Sacramento to take on the Heat on that Monday. So you have that going on, and then after that, as we've talked about, at Nuggets. That's on Wednesday. That's this coming Wednesday. And then next Friday, you have at T-Wolves. So, yeah, you can't really lose this game.
Yeah, I mean, because it's only going to get harder, like you said. I mean, this is kind of the bed that the Kings have made themselves in with the inconsistency in the first half. You can't really afford to lose these games that you are supposed to win, and there's going to be a couple games that we've highlighted before, like games like Dallas and the Knicks and the Magic that are going to be toss-ups, but you probably need to win more of those than you're losing as well. It's not fair, sure, but it's also it's kind of how it is. Again, it's a situation they've put themselves in, and if they're gonna be, if you want to be a playoff team and you want to make some noise in the playoffs, like you're going to have to at some point play like an elite team, and I think that they're capable of it. And honestly, in some weird ways, like sometimes you do need games where you don't have a star out there to kind of come together and understand, like, oh, we can rely on each other to a different level. So, that's kind of the hope if Sabonis doesn't play today, that in a weird way, maybe it can be a complete net positive, and maybe they can learn some things about themselves through this game. So, you got to keep fighting through it. No one's going to make excuses, and you really have to look to slow down their bigs, because obviously Wemby's a problem. We know all of the physical problems that he presents, but we can't forget Zach Collins went crazy last time these two teams played. He had 28 points last time these two teams played. So it's going to be big on Alex Len, I assume, is going to get the starting nod. Maybe we see JaVale, but maybe we see some Trey Lyles at the backup center, but they cannot allow Wemby, and especially not Zach Collins, to kill you tonight.
No, it cannot happen, especially not at home. You're looking for 17 wins to get back to that 48 spot that you were at last season, and you got 17 home games. So it's really that simple. I know it's not that simple, but it could be. It could be. As we discuss the Kings, and we'll get more into it throughout the duration of the show, also have Major League Baseball and its return, spring training today, and a little bit of Giants talk in and out. And not just Giants talk specifically, more about these big free agents that just have not moved at all, whether it's Blake Snell, whether it's Cody Bellinger, and how can what's happening in baseball maybe be a light at the end of the tunnel for the NBA. We know that the player power in the NBA goes beyond any other sport, but I think that what you're seeing is these teams in Major League Baseball say, I'm sorry, these guys are all on that line of, we know what other guys have gotten, what other players have gotten, but I can't do it. Cody Bellinger and that aggressive swing, as much as I love him on the Giants, you look like you're hurting your back every time you swing. You've been a bit injured. And Scott Boras, I'm sorry, brother, I cannot pay him $400-500 million for 12 years.
Yeah.
We're not doing that anymore. So I think we might be seeing a changing of the guard, and nobody is saying uncle and nobody's saying fine, I'll take less money. And that's why none of these guys have moved. So we will get into that later on in the show as well. And we have, honestly, a conversation about not just the Warriors. And you talk about, I think there was a play, and I always get the name of this play wrong, and somebody always corrects me on the text line or the Sac Chat. Shout out to the Sac Chat, by the way. It's How to Make It in America. It's a play that my parents took me and my sisters to, how to make it in America without doing anything or something like that. And honestly, Chris, that's how I feel about the Golden State Warriors, right? And I know, Steve, we've talked about Steve Kerr, and you got to manage different star power and things like that. But if you're Joe Lacob, right? If you're Joe Lacob, do you feel it's all connected to you because of who you hire and who you get in the building and how you got Steph Curry? But Steph Curry and the evaluation that came out for this team to be the best team or the team that has made the most money, right? Out of all sports franchises right now, are you looking saying, yeah, I did that? I mean, Steph Curry did this all by himself.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's insane. I mean, it's crazy because you read it off yesterday during the crosstalk, and the fact that the Warriors themselves are the number 2, like in franchise valuation, that's it's just crazy that they essentially turned it around in 10, 15 years to go from a team that really was no different, at least in terms of on the court product, than the Sacramento Kings. Really, I mean, and for them to turn it around and be the second most valuable franchise in sports
no, they're number one.
They're number one.
They're number one.
See, no, that's insane.
Yeah, they're number one.
That doesn't even make sense. I mean, yeah, that's all Steph Curry. It's all his style of play and how it's resonated with kids, not just here in Northern California, but across the globe. Like Draper said it the other day, like he was in Mexico during the break and he saw tons of Steph Curry jerseys. Like that he is like LeBron never connected with the youth, especially like that. I think Steph has a very, very unique way of just through his shooting. Like I think it really speaks to kids a lot, but it also speaks to an older generation as well. And it's insane how they've really built that thing out. And I think Joe Lacob has to have some credit for it, because it's one thing to have a hyper marketable player. It's another thing to expose that player to the level that they did.
No, you're correct, Chris. So they're number one for the NBA.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
They're number two out of the 92 franchises between NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
There we go.
So they're number two for all of those. They're number one in the NBA.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, it's still insane. It's
insane.
It's ridiculous, because you did the list and you could say, oh man, that's just because of course they have Steph Curry, but then the Chiefs aren't on that list. The Patriots have slipped off of that list. Right. There's tons of big names out there that haven't risen their franchise to or organization to the level that Steph has really with the Warriors. It's crazy. And that's coming from somebody who is well documented as
right.
I don't just give praise to that organization.
No, you do not. And I think that was really well said what Draper said yesterday during the crosstalk, that very similar to the Patriots. I don't see this this is not a shot. I just don't see this as having staying power for the Warriors. Yeah. So sorry, I know Joe Lacob wants an amusement park and all these things. I just don't see it happening once Steph Curry retires. When we get back, continuing the conversation about Domantas Sabonis, who needs to step up if he's out. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th.
New tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis is doubtful with an illness. Be sure to drink your emergency, everybody. And remember Airborne? Is Airborne still a thing? Is that gone now?
No, it's still around. But
this is, I love talking about how Skype fumbled the bag.
Yes,
right?
big time.
So Skype fumbled,
huge,
and Zoom ended up taking over.
Yeah.
Did Airborne fumble and emergency ended up taking Airborne's spot?
I think so. I actually think so. I haven't really made that connection, but Airborne definitely had the head start for sure.
I can't wait for the summer. Biggest fumbles of all time. And they can be literal fumbles. Yep. They can be fumbles like Skype.
Skype is number one for me.
Skype is always going to be number one.
I feel like that just wasn't talked about enough either. Yeah. I will never forget the first time somebody invited me to a Zoom, and I was like, what is that? And they were just like, oh, yeah, it's just what people are going to use for video conferencing. I'm like, but that's what Skype is.
Not anymore.
Nope, I guess not. Not
anymore. Well, speaking of fumbles, we hope that the Kings don't fumble this opportunity against the Spurs tonight, as they may or may not have Domantas Sabonis, but I may or may not care, because you got to win anyway.
Exactly.
You have to win anyway. Yeah. It is the race. It is the race to what do you think the target number is, right? We're talking about the Kings have to win 7. They got to go 17-11 to have the same record as last season.
Right.
But do we even think, is that a 6 seed? Do we think that's a 6 seed this season?
Let me look at the standings and just in terms of win totals where people are sitting at. But I mean, last year the real goal was 50, and they didn't reach that. And even if you get 50 wins, that's traditionally like a 6 or a 7 seed anyway. So I would say, I mean, if they can get 48 minimum, really, if they want to be like a 6 seed at this point is what I would say. Because I mean, yeah, you have New Orleans at 33 wins, Phoenix at 33 wins. Like that's just, I feel like that's asking those teams to pretty much go 500 down the stretch. I don't know. I feel like you're going to need to, with, the Kings being a couple games back in the win column, they're going to have to put up probably like 50 or 40, 48 minimum. And I don't, that's the bottom line.
And we're looking at this as a 1-2. I guess if we're looking at not being in the play-in, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're looking at 6 teams that are trying to get 2 spots, right? That's yep. And I don't think they're all going to hang around. I'm seeing here, Chris, the Warriors play the Lakers tonight, and the Lakers will not have LeBron.
Right.
LeBron is out with an ankle injury. So you got to think that's pretty serious. They just had the LeBron, which is weird. Actually,
very weird. There's a lot of posts about LeBron throwing it down in the All-Star game.
Now that I think about it, what are they doing, the Lakers? Why would LeBron play in that game and then be out this game when you need if I'm looking at the Lakers, or if I'm the Lakers, I'm looking at the Warriors thinking this is one we kind of have to have.
You do. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you're trying to fend them off, like, yeah, that's a game that's pretty much going to count for 2. And no guarantee that they're going to lose, but you kind of need, they're even more so in a situation than the Kings are, where they really can't be dropping games. And, I know LeBron and AD have a checkered history, or more so AD, but LeBron here recently too has had a checkered history of missing games down the stretch. I don't think the Lakers can afford that, but maybe they're also thinking, and I haven't really factored this into the equation yet, but how many teams are going to take a page from the playbook of the Lakers last year and say, seeding really doesn't matter. If we feel like we can beat these teams, like we can beat them. Like, it doesn't matter where we play. The Lakers were an 8 seed, 7 seed last year, and they made it to the conference finals.
You could make the argument that,
and Miami too. But Miami too was an 8 seed, or an 8 seed that made the finals.
Or do we just throw that season away?
That could also be.
We
the
know
case,
historically,
right?
what was it? The Rockets in the 70s. That was the last team to win as a 5 seed or something like that. This doesn't typically happen. So you can maybe get there and maybe until somebody, it's almost like Gonzaga, who March Madness is coming up. Until you do it, I love you, Mark Few, but you got to do it. Same thing with Lamar and running quarterbacks. Until someone does it,
right?
I love you, Lamar, but I need to see you do it. Until somebody in this kind of decade, right, goes from a 5, 6, 7, 8 seed and wins it,
right?
Not just get there. I'm not really buying that. I get what you're saying, but let's look at what happened last season. You had a Kings team who had every opportunity to win, but they had no playoff experience. They hadn't been there in 16 years, the weight of the city on their shoulders, and it still took a 50-piece by Steph Curry. So they the team that beat the Kings really never should have beat the Kings.
Right.
So the Lakers go up against a Warriors team, and that Lakers team was not the same team that they had that put them in that play-in. So I hear what you're saying. I don't think it's a good recipe.
I just wonder if like Denver, of course the Lakers are still in the situation they were last year, but like Denver, how hard are they really going to fight for like a 1 or a 2 seed?
If I'm not mistaken, in 2022, the Warriors won as a 3 seed.
Yeah, because there was a year, it might have been a 2 seed,
and that was them.
I remember the Nuggets.
That was them. That was them chilling towards the end of the season. So I'm pretty sure that is the okay, cool. And that was also when the West had much better records than the East. Sure. It's more even this season. So that was basically okay. If we can, whoever gets out of the West down to the 4 seed, you're going to have home court against the Eastern Conference. So I get what you're saying. I don't think the Warriors were a 3 seed that season. They were 53-29. So they got out of the West and then they had home court. I don't know if it's going to be the same this season. I get what you're saying. And really, if you're already in that position, you have to take that approach because you're not going to get to the 3. You're not going to get there. So you might as well say, well, we're going to be the first team to do it in a very long time from the 6th seed or something like that. But it's a race. It's a race to get out of the play-in. And we will give in our last segment with Frankie Cardicelli during the Kings Roundtable, we will give our final predictions on what is going to happen or what we believe is going to happen with the Kings. From Ryan Williams Art, if you on the Sack Chat, if you can't beat the Spurs without Sabonis, then forget all this talk about the playoffs. They would clearly need to address their depth. So I expect them to win by 12 tonight. You said a lot there, Ryan. That was a lot of ups and downs there. I don't think that they need to win by 12. I do think they need to win. But I would also say, even if they win by 12, they still had depth issues.
Yes.
The Spurs just aren't very good. So I don't think that the Kings winning or losing will prove anything tonight, but I do think it will make the road much harder. I think this is one of the most important one-off games they're going to have. I mean, I just can't believe what they have right after this. Yeah. Having the Clippers, the Heat, and then the Nuggets, and then the T-Wolves. That's rough.
It's really, really tough. And I agree. Like, this is, it might not seem like it, but this is just such an important one game because if they lose tonight, again, there's just potential for this thing to spiral. You definitely don't want to start losing your first, 5 games of the trip. So, get the win today and then, just try. And I think we said it yesterday, you're really just trying to go 2-2 the rest of those games that you listed out there. And that's going to be tough. And so, the Kings, this is as easy as it gets. I feel like we said this at the beginning of just the season in general, like against a team like Utah, especially in the Western Conference, it doesn't get easier than the Spurs, than the Trailblazers. And you got to try and make those things look as easy as possible. Like the Kings have to get off to a good start, get off on the right foot. And, you can't dig yourself a hole any deeper than you already are. You're the 8th seed right now. And that I think if you gave everyone, Marty McNair specifically, truth serum, that's not where this team wanted to be at this point. So they've got a lot of work to do. And it all starts today. And there's no excuses. Again, Domantas Sabonis not playing should not be the difference in the Kings winning or losing this specific game. How many times have teams played against the Kings this year or years in the past, and they haven't had somebody, and it has never seemed to matter?
True. That's very true. From Brandon Deitzman on the Sack Chat. This can't be another tricked off game. No, it cannot. They've done that far too often this season. All the mulligans are gone. When we get back, who will be Domantas Sabonis today for the Kings, or will they just play a different way? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit. I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Well, it's official. Just wanted to put this over the airwaves, let everybody know that baby Stiles is officially in the baby race.
You're lying.
Got the confirmation March 10th. I believe the Kings play the Rockets. We are training rigorously already. March 10th. It has been confirmed. Rockets at Kings. Baby Stiles is in the baby race.
What?
Mm-hmm. She's in.
Is there is there age limits or anything? Because when we were initially throwing this back and forth, it was I don't know when the next time they're going to have it. She might be running.
There's
at that
three
point.
more. Yeah, there's 3 more. We just did the earliest one because, not trying to brag or anything, but she's standing and she's getting, I mean, what are we? That was the whole thing, right? Yeah. So we are 1 week. We're basically 2 weeks away, and she's not going to be fully She can. Right. She's getting there, but she will not be fully walking in 2 weeks.
I wonder if there's going to be some controversy if she just gets up
and
does it.
If she just. So can I tell you something over the air? Can I tell you something? I know it's just us.
It's just us.
It's just us. So we had we kicked around a plan of if she did start walking right prior to the race, okay. We would pretend, and let's say she got up during the race, we would pretend like it was her first time walking and tell everybody, oh my goodness, in front of all these people, we would have went viral. It could still do it.
Yeah, we'll just
miracle.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all of us here, right here, will be in on the joke.
That's right. So it could happen for real. We have She's not going to be fully walking in 2 weeks.
You better hope Rain Fox is not in that competition. That's all I got to say.
You know what? I know she's got the speed, right? We've clocked her. She's pulling sleds. She's doing a lot. We got the weighted vest on her. We have a lot going on. My issue is sometimes she's very smiley. She's very, she's very nice and small.
Incredible.
When she meets somebody, she's super smiley and people love her. Go to the grocery store, bigger venue, she just kind of stares. She freezes up. Lights too bright. So I'm wondering, are the lights going to be too bright for her?
Yeah.
I know she's going to be the fastest baby there.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it's about. Who can just focus? Is she going to be focused on mommy or focus on everything? Is she going to be looking around what's going on?
Right.
So if she's focused,
got to get some blinders on her.
Maybe we should have some baby pre-game races here at the station.
That's what I'm thinking.
Used to the environment.
Right. Yes. Can we hit them up? Golden One, can we get her in the building, right? In the building when it's empty, so she's used to the arena. So when she gets in there, we can be ready to rock and roll. But she's in.
That is crazy. I mean, I cannot wait for that. But yeah, I'm telling you, the thing you really need to focus on, I've seen a couple baby races. You have to get the incentive. You have to, it's the toy. I guess you got to figure out who's going to be.
It's mommy.
You guys got to put your pride aside. You got to say, look, who does she like more?
Yeah.
Who's she more likely to come
it's
to?
Mommy. It's not even close. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
That's fine. Hey, man. Yep.
I'll have my time. I got daddy daughter dances coming up.
That's right.
Whenever I'll have my time, but we just gotta get this W. I just want to place. I just want to be first, second, third. I want to be first.
You also I feel like you're going to put a lot of pressure on her.
She knows.
Yeah, exactly.
She knows.
You don't want to put too much pressure on the kids too early. It becomes a nightmare.
Brandon Deitzman on the Sac Chat says, take her to a Stockton Kings game. I bet you can get her on the floor and get some floor seats, get her used to the ambiance.
Right.
Thank you, Brandon. Yep. Get her used to the ambiance. Because I just want a good showing. Just
exactly,
go.
right.
Just
Top
go.
3 finish.
Yes, I don't care if you win, but just
don't embarrass dad.
Give us a good show.
It's really about you. Just don't embarrass
especially
Alex.
when I see her cooking. She's cooking.
I can already hear the drive back home. At home, you were doing so well.
And then if she crawls at home every time.
Oh, now you want? Okay.
Every time I see her crawl, it's just going to tick me off. Every time I see her crawl, if she does not crawl, just crawl. If you don't get it, you don't get it.
It's going to be the story that you're going to tell at her wedding. Huh?
Just see red. Just see mommy and go. Please.
She's going to be so sick of hearing about this story by the time she's 8.
I'm like, remember that time? Remember that time that you embarrassed me in front of all my friends and colleagues? Remember that? Remember that? So March 10th, if you're in the building, give us a good cheer.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Yeah, no,
I'm nervous already.
I'm very nervous.
I feel like we need to get like all of Sactown down on the floor.
Yeah,
and,
Make banners or
That's
something.
right.
Yeah,
That's right. No,
We
because
got
then she's
full.
going to be looking at the banners. I don't know what to do, but she's got to stay focused. Maybe have Miss Rachel playing on
There
the
you
phone
go.
or something, so she'll run towards my wife and Miss
That's
Rachel.
incredible.
There you go. So hopefully she can
Right.
take care of business, and hopefully the Kings can take care of business with Domantas Sabonis out. And Chris, he missed 3 games last season.
Yeah.
The last game, second to last game of the season against the Warriors. So we won't really talk about that. But the 2 games that mattered in 2023, Rashawn started one of them in January, and they beat the Lakers. And Len started in December, and they lost to the Nuggets. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Obviously, I was in a different market at that point in time. Do you recall how those games looked? Was there somebody trying to be Sabonis, or did they just run things differently?
They just ran things differently. I remember the Lakers game a lot better than I remember the Nuggets game, more specifically because I remember that was probably Rashawn's best game of the season, and he just had a nightmare season last year for him. And that was really the only game in which he like looked like the Rashawn of old. And so that's all I really remember. And it's great for Rashawn in the moment, but now that we're trying to look back, like it's kind of tough to figure out and gauge
really.
How are the Kings going to play? How are they going to use that game as an example for how they're going to play today? I would just in general say it's probably going to be a lot of De'Aaron. Like that makes the most sense. The last time these two teams played, when they played the Spurs in San Antonio, De'Aaron had 43 against them. So he already had a crazy game against the Spurs. I would guess it's probably going to be a similar mindset today. But in terms of the style of play, I mean, nobody can do what Sabonis does. And that's why it's so tough. And that's why that backup center conversation was so prevalent last year. And I'm kind of surprised it wasn't as loud this year. When Sabonis is out there, you almost or when he's not out there, you almost have to play different because you can't ask Alex Len to set all these dribble like he doesn't have the same passing ability, nowhere near the passing ability as Domantas Sabonis, and that's more of a compliment to Sabonis than anything else. But it just makes him a really tough guy to plug and play for. Like you can't, you just. There's nobody on the roster who does even like a piece of what he brings. I guess Alex can be a good screen setter, but that's like a third or a quarter of what Sabonis really brings.
Do you think we finally see Trey Lyles in that small? I mean, this is a tough game to do it with Wemby,
right?
But you're not going to have anybody to kind of give Wemby any trouble. And I guess you could argue, hey, at least Alex Len or JaVale are bigger than Trey Lyles. But do you think this could be a situation where, hey, I recall seeing Harrison Barnes on Wemby a little bit.
De'Aaron was on Wemby for a minute.
Do you think this could be a game where we see more of that small ball 5 with Trey at the 5?
You could, because Wemby you can't go, height for height with Wemby. Right. So you're going to have to probably go for physicality with him. And I would give Alex Len the boost there because he does have a combination of both. But Trey Lyles has a lower center of gravity. If you could kind of get into Wemby's hip, I guess, like was where Trey would be at.
Yeah.
Maybe that can bother him more than JaVale leaping ability.
Yeah.
I would like to see it, but to your point, I just don't know if this is almost the worst game to kind of experiment with it. I would like to see it though. I think that's the thing I want to see most this second half of the season is just we have pretty much seen none of Trey Lyles at the backup 5. And it just seems to make the most sense to me, especially with the Kings. If they're not going to be a big team, you might as well lean into the smaller thing. And I think Trey's more than capable of doing it. So I wouldn't hate to see it tonight, but I would not expect to see it tonight.
Yeah. And then offensively, Wemby doesn't really sit in the post. He still gets blocks because he's got, go gadget arms, but if you can pull him out a bit. So De'Aaron, this is going to be a high usage game for De'Aaron.
Yeah.
I don't know if, and we got prop talk a little later, he's at, I think 28.5.
Oof.
Yes. 28.5 and 7.5 assists. So they're expecting De'Aaron to essentially, let's be honest here. Yeah. You know what, Chris? I'm going to say it. That line right there, that is the line, and we'll read them off later in the show. That is the line that some of De'Aaron's peers have every single day.
Yeah.
Right. That's the line
Absolutely.
that Shea Gilgeous has every single day.
Yep.
That's a line that Luka has every single day. So for one game without, and we've talked about, oh, well, how do we know that De'Aaron wouldn't be doing similar a De'Aaron version of what Halliburton is doing in Indiana?
Right.
This is an opportunity for De'Aaron to just go crazy, young fella.
Right.
Just go. Just go.
The team's going to always go as far as De'Aaron takes them, and I would be more than happy to see it, because I think he has kind of not lost that, but I think, with how this team is constructed, it's a bit of an equal opportunity where, it could be HB's night, it could be Kevin Huerter, it could be Keegan, it could be Sabonis, but like De'Aaron is still the best player on this team. And I've talked a lot previously in the season about how HB kind of needs to have more ego, say like, I'm Harrison Barnes, I can take this skinny rookie down to the post and cook him. De'Aaron needs to say, who's guarding me right now? Trey Jones.
That's what I'm saying.
They got, I don't even, Malachi Branham. I don't even know who San Antonio is going to throw out at him. De'Aaron should be able to score every time down the floor.
You should be licking your chops at a game like this if you're
every
De'Aaron.
time.
This should be not a stat pad.
No, stat pad. Use it. I don't care.
Stuff the stat sheet.
Yeah,
that's what De'Aaron should be doing. More on De'Aaron Fox and how his role might be a little bit different with Sabonis out tonight when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Did you know some ordinary cold medicines can raise your blood pressure?
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints of the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company sold on report.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. Or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Will we get De'Aaron Fox the scorer? Will we get De'Aaron Fox the facilitator? Will we get De'Aaron Fox the playmaker? As a wise man once said, Drizzy Drake, how about combination?
That's just, it's just not where I was expecting
Simone
you to
cannot even look at me right now.
I'm only mad I don't have that drop. I'm gonna go get it.
Combination.
We need a combination tonight and look, Chris is being optimistic. Maybe this whole conversation is moot because Sabonis ends up playing. But whenever I see doubtful, I just read it for what that word means.
Yes.
Doubtful. So that's how we're reacting. 707 is curious why Sabonis is out. He is out with he is doubtful with an illness.
Yes.
That is why he is doubtful today, which tells me he must have got it pretty close to the end of the break, which is unfortunate. It's all about timing, man.
He was on vacation, I believe. Sean Cunningham said this morning in Mexico. So
okay,
he came in from Mexico, much like our guy Brandon Nunez, who was spending some time in Vegas and is also not feeling well. So
man,
must just be a travel bug right now.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a necessary evil risk because these guys needed a break. They desperately needed a break, and I'm not gonna, I'm not that anybody's blaming Sabonis for getting sick, but these dudes definitely needed some time away from basketball and just time away from the situation in general. And so I'm, if he's got to miss one game because he got sick from vacation, that's fine.
Hopefully
it's only one.
What is the line you think? This is something I rarely think about because, and to be honest, I don't think a lot of people, I think that's part of the whole conversation of not looking at these guys in all sports as, the same way we look at other people as far, not as humans, but okay, someone's injured and things like that. But you never really think, you talk about the Jordan flu game, but you never really talk about illness. What do you think the line is? And obviously COVID,
it kind of blurred those lines
even more. But how often, right? If you have a cold, do you think you're playing?
I think so.
And it's just, hey, if somebody else gets it, we're all going to end up playing through it anyway. What is that line? I guess what I'm saying is Sabonis is probably pretty darn sick.
Pretty down bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine, if there's any, I don't want to get too detailed, but I would imagine sniffles and things like that, you're probably playing through. If it becomes anything like respiratory, I would imagine you're probably at the least going to be on a minutes restriction.
Right.
But I mean, if you're vomiting or anything like that, that's probably the line. Once that starts happening, it's kind of probably up to the player, but you're probably more than likely going to trend towards doubtful. And I have no idea what Sabonis' situation is.
Yeah, we don't know. It just says illness.
Not that it matters.
I do know when you're stuffy and you run, there's probably a word for this. And 916-339 Folsom Lake, 916-339-1140 Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. All guests and callers join us from Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. I don't know what the term is, but I do know if you're stuffy and you work out, a lot of times you open up. So I feel like a lot of these guys, when they're sick, they don't feel sick while they're playing because they're so active.
Right.
So that's why I'm not very confident that Sabonis,
right? And they said it yesterday too.
And they said it yesterday.
Said he was doubtful, not questionable. Said he was doubtful yesterday. So to your point, he's probably down pretty bad. If yesterday they're even not looking good for tomorrow.
And again,
even a good night's sleep's not going to do
it
well.
We don't think that that's going to be enough.
Like De'Aaron said with the shoulder, right?
Right. 5 days ain't enough. I mean, for this, whatever it is, it's not enough. And again, it's not as if it's. I guess the line is if you were playing the Clippers tonight or the Nuggets tonight or somebody, would he be playing?
A playoff? Yeah.
I don't know.
Old cliche.
I don't know. That's where the line can change a little bit. But when it's the Spurs and we have a back-to-back coming up,
for sure,
a hybrid travel back-to-back where we got to go to LA to face the Clippers who we haven't beaten and come back and face the Heat who we haven't beaten because we only faced them once in Miami. We got to figure it out against the Spurs. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. I think to answer your playoff question, I would guess it's you would have to not be able to get out of bed to miss a playoff game, I would think. Jordan, the Jordan flu game really is the example, but there's who even know if it was the flu. But you would have to be down really bad to miss a playoff game. But I agree. I think that I do wonder, actually, I wonder if if they factored in, like you said, that doubleheader that they have, or back-to-back that they have coming up here, because again, it should be easy enough to beat the Spurs, or you should be good enough to beat the Spurs even without Sabonis. But if he's not going to be 100% for those Miami games, for that Clipper game, or I guess Clippers is first, Clippers and Miami game, that would be more concerning. So maybe a little bit of calculus here happening from the King side, which I think is, if that is true, if they did really say like those two games are more important than this one, I actually kind of agree. I think that that's probably the best way of going about it.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. And we did the same conversation with De'Aaron when he had an ankle injury and things like that. So look, like we said,
he can miss one game also. Like, he has not missed a game all season. Like,
these guys need a break, right? and unfortunately, there's not a lot of leeway as all these teams are trying to get these two non-play-in spots in the 5 and 6 seed. But this stuff is going to happen, right? And I'll put it to you like this: I'd rather, obviously, you would hope that the team has everybody for the playoffs, right? But things can happen. I would rather the Kings at least have one game under their belt without Sabonis.
Yes.
Instead of possibly that game being a playoff game.
That's a good point.
And now you're looking around thinking, what are we going to do? Right. Yeah. Hopefully you don't have to answer that question.
Right.
But to say, okay, if I'm talking to Chris Watkins and Chris Watkins says, yeah, this guy is basically the hardest guy for them to replace and has the highest usage, and they don't have any experience playing without him.
Yeah.
That would not be great. And because here's the other thing, it's not just injury. What about, and I know it's a little bit different because you're in the flow of the game, fouling out.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Fouling out, which he's gotten close before. He's fouled out before. So
I think he leads the NBA in personal fouls.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So anything can happen in the playoffs. I don't mind them preparing themselves for that situation, especially if it's against the Spurs. And we have some Spurs stuff that we'll highlight later in the show with Wembanyama and Popovich, so we will get into that all as well. Got a quick story for you here, Chris, from Bobby Marks, who is ESPN NBA front office insider. And he was on a Bay Area station and says a lot of teams are calling the Jordan Poole contract one of the worst deals in the NBA right now. That's a lot. One of the worst.
I'm gonna have to look at what the exact numbers are, but the Zach LaVine contract comes to mind. I mean, I know that's kind of one that we were looking at pretty intensely during the trade deadline and just how expensive that is, but it's definitely up there for sure. I don't know if I would go number one, but again, I'm gonna have to look at what exactly that Jordan Poole number is.
I got you right here.
Let's see here.
He's making $27.4 million this season.
That's definitely not great.
Next season, he'll make 29.6. Next season after that, he'll make 31.8. And the next season after that, he will make $34 million. And this season, Jordan Poole, and it's supposed to be the jacuzzi and pool party, he's averaging 15.6 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists on 40% shooting from the field.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here on Spotrac.
And the Wizards are trash.
Jordan Poole makes the 36th highest average salary in the NBA this season.
Is he the 36th player? Is he the 36th best player?
He is definitely not. Some of the players who get paid less than him that definitely should not be getting paid less. Let's see here. How about Jamal Murray, NBA champion? Does that
Jamal Murray?
Yeah, Jamal Murray makes $31 million. How about this one? Devin Booker makes $31 million. Brandon Ingram makes $31 million. Let's see here. Jaylen Brown this season. We know he just signed this crazy extension. Jalen Brunson's getting paid $26 million. But technically,
they're making more than him because he's making 27 this season.
I have on Spotrac, Jordan Poole is making $32 million this season.
Okay.
So I guess that's his average. I'm sorry. That's his average salary.
Right.
So I guess this season it's.
Well, whatever. Yes. I'm going either way. It ain't great because he's not close.
It's not even close. And I would definitely agree with that. Let me see if there's anybody above him that really looks egregious. I mean, Clay. I mean, the Clay Thompson contract.
We all know that, but you know what?
Ben Simmons. I don't know. That's kind of crazy. Ben Simmons' contract.
But they said one of the worst. Okay. So just throw it all. Call it 5.
DeAndre Ayton too. Oh my goodness. There's some bad contracts out there in the NBA. He's definitely up there for sure. But at least there's still hope that maybe Jordan Poole can fix it. Like his problem right now is he's just not making the shots. I guess and the turnovers and the bad defense too. But
that's two more things.
It's two more things. But it is masked if he just hits a higher percentage of his shots, because Jordan Poole, if I had to guess this season, is probably hovering somewhere near 40% from the field, and I would guess like 33% from 3. And those numbers are pretty much dead on. He is shooting 40% exactly from the field, and he is shooting 30.3% from 3. So, I mean, I guess the 30. He is shooting 30% from 3. 30.3% from 3 on 6 threes per game.
But at least he's young, and
that's exactly.
And that's why we tried to Harrison Barnes.
Get better. They need a professional, man.
Put him in a suit.
Put him in DC, man. Put HB in DC. You're a wizard, Harry.
Coming up next, we will discuss the Niners as the opponents for 2024 have come out. We'll also talk about how Wingstop accidentally made a lot of money. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sactown Sports.
Spins away from the defender in the paint. Soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
The NBA app is everyone's app. Every fan of every team.
Oh, my goodness.
Everyone who follows LeBron, Tatum, and Embiid in the app. Every warrior who's ready to go to battle over three-point percentages. Every streetwear king who's here for the tunnel fits. Every young buck, nugget, and grizzly who wants to take a peek behind the scenes of the league. And everyone else on this floating basketball we call Earth. Download the NBA app today. Available in the Google Play, Apple app, and Android stores.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening, Chad, for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
I haven't been this excited about a deal in a long time. Right now, you can save $18,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Jeep Gladiator EcoDiesels. This thing can get up to 28 miles per gallon on the highway, and it's the perfect combination of off-road fun and work truck. Plus, it's the #1 new quality vehicle among mid-sized trucks, according to J.D. Power.
And you're selling them with an $18,000 discount? That seems a little crazy.
Well, we do things a little different here at Hoblet. We're here to help you find the vehicle you need at the best possible price. That's why we don't have a bunch of dealer markups, surprise add-ons, or fees. At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings and selection.
There's no better time to take advantage of this savings at Hoblet. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
At Hoblet, you get the small town experience with the big city savings, selection, and no surprise hidden fees.
$18,012 net savings after $11,096 factory rebates and $69.04 dealer discounts. Rebates may include $500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of eligible first responder association. Qualify 5 with this net savings. Send within 553-385. See dealer for details.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fried co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, bag boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys, bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of TBC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
When accidents turn life upside down, AutoAccident.com is in your corner. Compassionate advice, loyal support, and the courage to fight for you. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
You may have seen on social media that NBC Sports California and Matt Barnes have parted ways. Obviously, as the flagship for the Kings, people have asked us about it. Chris and I don't really know much. You know, we're not saying anything that no one doesn't already know as far as the incident at the high school at his son's games. Was that the straw that broke the camel's back? I really don't have too much information on it. Like we said, there is a bit of a line between that because that's NBC Sports California. We're the flagship for the Kings, so it's not.
Right. We're the radio side, they're the TV side. We really don't cross-pollinate at
It's
all.
not completely connected, but yes, for those wondering, there are reports that they have parted ways.
I think Dave actually talked. Is the
Dave,
one who
Dave dropped
broke
it on
so
on
I'm
X.
sure he'll have more on it.
Yes,
when
a couple days ago when he comes back from his presidential extravaganza.
I did see that. Did you see that?
He's like taking pictures,
literally on the lawn of the White House.
Yes,
like
he's in the West Wing,
like, what is
and
going on,
then
man?
he's kicking it with Abraham Lincoln,
bro.
He's doing it all. So shout out to Dave, who's enjoying himself out there. And yes, Dave broke that news I think like 2 days ago.
I think it was 2 weeks
ago. As far as we're concerned, we don't really have too much on it. You know, things happen. People move forward. You know, that broadcast is continuing to grow. And do some good things and really add to the Kings and what they're doing as an organization.
Tons of talented people over there too.
Yes.
Chelsea Gray's been great this year. Mike Bibby, I think, has been great this year. So they're in good hands. And of course, they got our guy Kyle Draper and Dusamo as well. So
yes, right.
Good
there, you know, there are some things behind the scenes that maybe we heard, maybe we didn't. You'll hear a lot when these things happen. The bottom line is that Matt Barnes will be okay, and NBC Sports California will be okay as well. And we believe that the Niners will be okay as you take a look at their opponent schedule. Chris, we were not arguing about this, but Chris, this is pretty cupcake. So I'm going to say the home the home opponents and the away opponents. Home, obviously, you have the divisional teams. Home, you have the Cardinals, the Rams, the Seahawks, the Bears, the Lions, the Jets, the Patriots, the Cowboys, and the Chiefs. So the three right there, and besides division, because we know division is always a little dicey. Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys. Fine.
Jets too, maybe. Who knows? Aaron Rodgers.
Raj
coming back home.
That bad man.
Come on, back in the Bay.
And the Niners have really marred Aaron Rodgers' career. He's lost to the Niners. They didn't draft him.
It's my favorite thing about the Niners.
They didn't draft him. He's got a chip
every time.
He's got a chip, and then they beat him over and over,
like
and they don't even score touchdowns. You got Jimmy Garoppolo in Lambeau.
So great. It's so
Aaron,
good.
You're supposed to be used to this.
He's
this
not.
is your home field.
Nah.
So yeah, sure. If you want to throw the Jets in there,
why not?
If you throw the Jets in there, it's actually pretty decent because you do have the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams too.
The Rams at home, and
then
you have
the Bears.
Seahawks.
Who knows? That could be. They got 2 top picks. Who knows?
Yeah,
Cardinals
have a top pick, and they're trying. And now let's do away. You have obviously the divisional opponents again. The Packers on the road. They got something for them. The Vikings on the road. Can we get Chris to Minnesota, please? You can get to the Mall of America. Yep. You can hang out with some people. I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
It depends when it is. Like if we're talking like a December Minnesota game,
I want to experience it. No, I want the real deal.
A part of me does too, but at the same time, I'm like Charmin soft, and so I do not like. Yeah, no, snow is a non-starter for me. I do hear they have like a pretty cool like rat tunnel system, essentially, where you can travel throughout downtown, and it's Futurama.
Time out.
You ever seen Futurama? How they literally travel.
Whenever I hear rats, I get triggered.
Yeah,
and I lived in Oakland. It's crazy out there. No, I mean it's a real deal.
That's a good point. That's right. I'm sorry. That's crazy. From what I understand, it is kind of it's essentially human rat tunnels.
So basically, it's essentially a subway system
where you
can walk.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm in on that.
Like deal with the snow.
I'm not claustrophobic, but I don't enjoy it. I went in a submarine once, and it wasn't even underwater.
No,
it wasn't even underwater, and I didn't like it.
That's not happening.
Yeah, I'm out on the rat
especially
tunnels.
after that Titanic thing that happened. You're not
go with your
catching
family
me.
to the game. I'm not going. Now I'm out. I think you did this on purpose to get me out.
Well, and even the Mall of America, I've heard, the decline of malls in America in general.
I like a good mall.
I think it's got everything. I think there's literally a theme park in there.
I've been there. Yeah.
Have you really?
Yes.
Is it too big?
I mean, it just feels like I didn't walk every, crevice of it, but yeah, it's definitely pretty gigantic. I went on a couple of the rides. Yeah.
Really?
See?
I don't know if I would do
I'm
that.
back in, but no tunnels
I'm
for
like
me.
not going on New York.
Yeah. We're back in. We're back in. So the Niners are at Minnesota. Who their quarterback will be, we actually a little later in the show have some free agents that we will discuss. SportsCenter, ESPN did a mock free agency and where these guys will end up. If you're a Raiders fan, you're probably not going to like where they have Josh Jacobs going. We will get to that later in the show. The Niners are also at Dolphins. Don't love that. Again, depends on the time of year.
Yep, sure
I
does.
guess it's always pretty warm in Miami, but it's the rain. It's the rain.
We've seen Brock in the rain. Hasn't ended up pretty good, but that'll be a fun one because you get the McDaniels not rematch, but you get the McDaniels against Shanahan matchup. That should be that's always going to be good fodder to talk about. And then you got the Bills as well. I don't know if you said that.
At Bills. You know what's weird? Why are they going to Tampa again? Didn't they or was Tampa at home?
Oh, I don't remember, but they did just play Tampa. I think it's because you play.
It was at home.
Don't you play like the division winners if you win your division or something like that?
And it was at home, so this go round it will be.
And who knows? That's like Miami too, where it's like kind of depends. It could be raining or it could be the most beautiful weather you've ever seen.
I think I've been convinced, Chris. This isn't an extremely easy, not an extremely easy schedule for them.
It's going to depend too on how they stack them up, right? Like if they have like the Eagles this year had that brutal stretch.
If they go Rams, Lions, Chiefs or something like that, that's pretty rough.
You can throw the Cowboys in there and then Buffalo and at Miami, like there, and then at Green Bay too, depending on when it is in the year. Like it's not easy. Like, no. I mean, if you're saying the easy wins on the schedule, like, I guess you have to still consider Arizona. Seattle, I think, is probably going to have a down year. And then besides that, like, even Chicago looked frisky at the end of last year. The Patriots probably aren't going to be great. The Jets, who knows? Tampa, who really knows? But for the most part, I mean, everybody else is at least, has a chance, I think, of beating them. I would assume the Niners probably have a little something for the Vikings, though, because they were one of the only teams that beat them last year.
Yeah, and again, I know we'll finally move forward from the Super Bowl, but you look at something like this and so much can go wrong.
When do we think that would you want to have that Niners Chiefs just like put it week 1? Like, could that be like the first game? Oh, I think they already scheduled the first game of the season to be like an overseas game.
Isn't it was in Brazil or something like that with the Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah. The 925 says, Niners beating Rodgers, yet since he was drafted, he has more Super Bowl wins than the Niners. You're not wrong.
One.
You're not wrong.
He has one, though.
That's one more. That's one more. I just want to say,
them. I know, but that's more of my Aaron Rodgers shade.
They kept
the same
him
as Joe Flacco.
Yes. Right. They kept him from getting more.
Yes, absolutely.
But he still has more than them. So maybe I call it even.
It's even. Yeah.
Maybe I call it even.
What is it, 4 appearances or 3 or 4 appearances, 3 appearances in that time.
Right.
No wins, but
they're both annoyed at each
out.
other. They're both annoyed at each other. The Niners are annoyed because they didn't draft him. Rodgers is annoyed because he hasn't been able to beat them in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And that's different. He lost to Kaepernick. He lost to Garoppolo. He lost all of them.
Yeah.
He lost all of them. But yes, he does have that shiny ring that the Niners have not been able to get.
Yeah.
And yes, if you combine the two of them, I think it's pretty safe to say.
And that's Robert Saleh, too. I didn't even make that connection. You get the Robert Saleh coming back to San Francisco. Possibly.
Yes.
Who knows? I mean, it depends when they're going to schedule that game and how next season goes. But.
Right. It probably will be. So, yeah, I think it'll be a good season for the Niners. I'm already seeing Niners fans 14-3.
14-3.
14-3.
Don't even need to see the order. 14-3.
Doesn't matter.
16-1, but we'll lose to the Chiefs.
Yep.
That's what I'm seeing.
14-3. This is what happens when you have high expectations. And, we've had Brad from SF Niners on. We've had Larry Krueger on. And I think the consensus, Chris, that we have gathered so far is that this seems to be the true last hoorah for this core. I know Larry thinks that they might lose Ayuk and they may lose Juszczyk, but as far whatever you think, if you lose Ayuk, then the core is already broken.
Sure.
But let's assume that they do go into this next season with the core. This will probably be it.
Yeah.
That's what we're hearing.
Well, I mean, already Trent Williams has said next year is going to be his last year. So, we were talking a lot with Larry about how the offensive line is already probably the biggest thing that they need to fix. If you're losing Trent Williams, the offensive line is incredibly important, obviously. And it'd be tough to try and build a true contender if you're losing your best lineman in a line that's already a little shaky, to say the least.
Yeah. All right. When we get back, we will discuss who scares you most out of the East as we get ready for Frankie Cardicelli at 11:30 for the Kings Roundtable. We will also discuss how Wingstop accidentally made a lot of money. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Bang, bang, Niner Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article, or sensitive personal information about your family. Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff, so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Who scares you the most? We discussed contenders and pretenders in the West. And if we're going to go East here, I think every team in the East scares you because the Kings have not had a good record against the East at all. They'll have some opportunities to avenge some of those losses in this last bit of the season here, the final 28 games. We do contenders and pretenders, Chris, for the East.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
It's just what you said. It is. I mean, if we're talking from the Kings perspective, man, I mean, it's just, I don't want to play any of this. And of course they would only play them in the finals, which is pretty unlikely, but it's just, we've seen, whether it be the Celtics, whether it be the Bucks, whether it be the Sixers, even the Knicks in the past have given the Kings trouble. It just feels like the East is just, it's really tough for the Kings to beat any of those teams. So
contenders and pretenders, Celtics, I think, obviously,
yeah, best record in the NBA.
But it does get interesting right here with the Cavs. I mean, the Cavs are the 2 seed by a good bit.
Yeah,
by a good margin over the Bucks. You calling them a contender?
I'm not. I don't think so. I just can't see them winning a title. Like, I mean, my feelings on Donovan Mitchell are well chronicled, but I feel like they're just kind of missing that it factor. Like,
Donovan.
I just don't think he's
haters
NBA champion quality, especially because it's not even like a, Fox about, like, they don't have a strong number 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Maybe Donovan's good enough to be a 1B or a Robin to a Batman or a Batman to a Robin even, but I don't know who their number 2, who that Robin is in a playoff situation. Plus,
Garland.
In a playoff situation, I don't love that. Like, I don't think he's proven to be like that caliber of player. Like, I would take Sabonis as a number 2.
Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, for sure. And
that's not enough.
Yeah, that's I just don't think that's enough and I don't think Donovan Mitchell is good enough to have that be your number 2 and have that be.
I will say this. I'm going to be very upset if the Cavs come out of the East for one reason. So we got to make sure we do this correctly on the airways. But Chris and I, we were in Vegas and we were hanging out, right?
Okay.
And I had an idea. I was very confident. I'll put it to you like this. I was confident in the Cavs coming out of the East. I liked how that looked. I was not able to participate because I had some issues. And the next thing you know, I'm giving some dude my driver's license.
I had no idea where you were going with that.
I liked the Cavs a lot coming out of the East, but the combinations weren't working. I was just getting annoyed, and I end up giving this guy too much personal information. I don't end up filling out anything anyway, and all I wanted was to combo something with the Cavs combination. And if the Cavs end up coming out of the East, I'm going to sit here and say, I told you. I knew it. Because a lot of people,
give up your social for it.
Man, I just had to give up all my information for it, and I still didn't get to enter it all in.
I've forgotten about that.
But
so then we're definitely, as a show, we're just going to root against the Cavs then.
I have to now.
That's cool.
Or I can say, I told you.
Yeah.
I don't got anything to show for it. But I told you. So I think most people feel the way you do.
They got to win a playoff series too. Like, they lost to the Knicks last year in the playoffs, and the Knicks weren't. I think even Knicks fans would tell you, like, we're a lot better this year than we were last year. And so for the Cavs, it's going to be, you got to prove that you guys are someone to be afraid of. Because to me, they're looking a lot like OKC, except I would honestly probably fear OKC more than I would fear Cleveland.
You are down on Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see the top end. Like, I don't see what there is to be afraid of.
They got the 2 bigs.
Series. Yeah.
They got the score.
Yeah.
On paper, they have everything you need.
Yeah, I just don't.
They got the bench. They got
Jared Allen literally is the guy who has the quote, like the quote of the lights were too bright. Yeah. That is literally quoted from Jared Allen.
Last season.
That was last year.
They're not as bright anymore. They're used to it now.
Yeah, Evan Mobley too. I love Evan Mobley. He has not developed anywhere near to the point where he's still good, but
he hit his ceiling quick. You know who Evan Mobley has been? You remember in Little League, that kid that just threw complete gas, but then it turns out he didn't hit the growth spurt, and he just was still throwing the same speed even when the pitching mound was further away. That has been Evan Mobley. Came out hot, and we're thinking, whoa, this dude could be something, and he's just plateaued very quickly.
Yeah, and so and like Garland's good. I don't think he's like, what we've seen from I would like to see what Jamal Murray did or has done in the playoffs. Like, I don't think Darius Garland, or I just haven't seen that from Darius Garland even. So I don't think they have the top end talent, especially when you're talking about like Cleveland against the Bucks. Like, I just don't see how matchup wise they're going to be able to solve a lot of the problems that other teams give them. Like, if Joel is going to come back for the playoffs, that the Sixers are going to be a tough out. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but yeah, I just think that there's a lot of teams in the East that I would personally pick over Cleveland.
The Kings will face the Celtics April 5th. That will be the last time they see the Celtics. It doesn't look like they have, because they already played the Cavs. Yeah, the Cavs already came to Sacramento, so they're done with the Cavs. And next up, contenders or pretenders, you have the Milwaukee Bucks, who the Kings. I mean, this is another confusing one. The Kings host the Milwaukee Bucks March 12th.
Yeah.
So coming up sooner than later here. And I would say that they're obviously contenders, but they are pretenders of contenders.
That is, I like that. We'll do that because they're definitely contenders. Like, you can't have Giannis and Dame and not be a contender, but they're 3-7 in their last 10, and Middleton's had past couple years of some checkered injury history, and Brook Lopez is getting up there, and Giannis is already talking about how old he's feeling. It's just. That's a tough horse to bet on right there. But a buck, if you will.
There you go.
I mean, they're contenders, but they're at the low end of the contender scale for sure.
And that, like I said, the Kings will have an opportunity against the Bucks March 12th. Coming up next, or not coming up next, but next on the list, the Knicks. You have the New York Knickerbockers at the 4 seed, 33-22. And the Kings it feels like
they play them twice, I believe.
Yeah, because they haven't played them yet.
Nope. Still got to go to the Garden.
March 16th, the Kings the Kings host the Knicks. And then after that, April 4th, the Kings go to the Garden, who, by the way, a couple months ago, De'Aaron Fox was on, I think it was Bleacher Report, and he said the most overrated stadium or arena was the Garden. So he'll probably get booed pretty heavily there. They don't forget out there. You don't talk about the guy.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, and I wonder. I'd like to look up how De'Aaron historically has done in the Garden, because everybody always likes to say that's they like to put up big performances, but I guess if De'Aaron's saying it's overrated, he probably just doesn't feel it.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. All-Star game lame.
Overrated, De'Aaron.
The Garden lame. Playoffs actually under. He didn't say anything about playoffs, but
championship. Overrated.
Can I just say that the Knicks are like my Eastern Conference team this year.
They're your Cavs.
I just love them.
Yeah.
I love the style of play. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's gonna lead them to a title or anything like that, but I like the thought of just Tibbs sending it back to the early 2000s and just saying the late 90s for the Knicks is really what he's trying to channel. And they're just really physical. They get tons of offensive rebounds. And they got an unspectacular superstar like that. Jalen Brunson is, we talked about Becky Hammond a couple months ago saying you can't have Jalen Brunson as your 1A, but they just have such a good collection of talent. The OG trade has done crazy things for them. Josh Hart's like the ultimate hustle dude. DiVincenzo's kind of the same cloth. I just think it's a really fun team to watch. And I hope they can make some noise in the playoffs, but I do kind of fear kind of what I said with the Cavs too. Like, the top end talent is a little concerning.
Yeah, I read something, or I saw a video yesterday that said Jalen Brunson actually went to the Mavs twice throughout that season when they went to the Western Conference Finals before he left.
Yeah.
And there was supposed to be an offer for $55 million for 4 years, and the Mavs turned him down twice. And then when Luka, yes, and then when he's getting paid twice that now in New York. Then when Luka went down towards the end of the season and Jalen went crazy, then Mark Cuban and the Mavs came back to him and said, "Hey, can we do the $55 million?" And he said no. And then that's when he knew we were out of there.
Said, Mark, I've been watching a lot of Shark Tank.
Yeah, exactly. No deal. Right. For those reasons, I'm out. That's after the Mavs turned down Jalen Brunson for $55 million twice.
Is that bag fumble? Is that getting in the category?
That's in the category.
Yep, cool.
It's not Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder's number one, but it's up there. When we get back, yes, it is time. Kings Roundtable has returned for the first time post All-Star break. Frankie Cardicelli joins us. Coming up next, Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey. He walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey. Takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Once we get away from the fog of the morning, your Thursday will be bright and sunny with light winds. It'll be a nice day to be outdoors. Expect highs to peak today in the lower 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
And paid for by America First Tax Group. Attention. If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes significantly. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you. But you must call 800-257-0663 today to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-257-0663. That's 800-257-0663. Again, 800-257-0663.
It's Carmichael Day with a Fire Wings announcement. The Floor and Road location now serves pizza, and oh my goodness, it's so good. Don't forget the Wings Day Wednesday lineup, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. You got 21 delicious flavors to choose from and the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. Save time and order online. Go to firewings.com or download the app. Find a location near you, order online, and earn rewards. Fire Wings. Just wing it.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Are you ready for the deal of a lifetime? This week only during the President's Week sale, get ready to rev up your savings at Elk Grove Kia and elkgrovekia.com. The doors swing wide open every day at 9 a.m., and we're unleashing the biggest selection of pre-owned and brand new vehicles you've ever seen. With so many options to choose from, you're sure to find the car of your dreams. But hold on to your seats, because here's the best part. Our prices are slashed to the bone, and they're so incredible that we can't broadcast them. You have to come down and see for yourself. Don't wait. This is a 1-week only event. And to make it even better, you can drive away with your dream car right on the spot. No waiting, no hassle. Just instant delivery right on site. Remember, the President's Week sale happens this week only at Elk Grove Kia and elkgrovekia.com. Doors open at 9 a.m. sharp. Elk Grove Kia, where the biggest savings and the hottest wheels await during the President's Week sale. Only at Elk Grove Kia.
This segment is brought to you by Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
We are joined by my friend, Kings Insider, Frankie Cardicelli. Frankie, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Got to do double duty. You're all over the place now with Brendan out. My buddy, my pal, my friend, Frankie.
My pal, my friend. Thank you guys for having me on. Brendan Nunez, well wishes.
Yes.
Please rest up. I was telling him before, off
Get
the air.
some tea in you.
We got 13, 14 home games in March.
Yeah.
So rest up, man, because we're gonna be living at Golden One Center.
Yeah.
All of us gonna be living there.
That's
enjoying
right.
that media food. You're already hyping up.
Well, I told you. Well, yeah, it's going to be good tonight. I got a feeling it's going to be good tonight.
Especially because Brandon's not there.
Because Brandon's not there. When I went as a fan, you guys came out.
Ooh.
They had mac and cheese.
best
I'm
day.
thinking, what is going on? But Frankie, you were talking about being at at Golden One very, very often. March 10th, you got to be there. My child is going to be in the baby race. Baby Stiles in the
Really?
baby race. It's official.
Wow, it's official. Are you going to be down there coaching?
There's odds too. There's odds. She's plus.
I don't
she's-
think that's.
She's plus 200.
Okay, I like that. Can I just ask? I've never talked to someone that has had a baby in the baby race. Do you try to coach and
This is my first
practice?
time. I don't know.
Are you going to run through drills at the house?
Yeah, we got the sled.
Are you
got
going
a
to
weight vest.
Absolute nightmare.
Gerber food in front of the baby?
That's right. We don't
30
know.
feet away.
We know she can cook. We know she can move. She can move. She got the wheels from me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
College athlete.
That's right. That's right. Well, my wife was too.
Yeah.
So
Really?
we got double.
What did she play?
She played softball at Temple.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's how we met. So
Ball players. I like
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be cooking.
Okay.
As long as Chris said with the Cavs, Jared Allen, as long as the lights aren't too bright.
Who do they play that night? Who do the Kings play?
It's the
that night?
Rockets.
The Rockets?
That's right.
I feel pretty good about. What's your daughter's name?
Ella.
I feel pretty good about Ella's chances.
That's
I
right.
feel pretty
That's right.
good.
So it's going to be something else. So you better be in the building. Frankie Cardicelli joins us, and we are really getting some new information from Frankie because that's why he's an insider. Sabonis might be in the building and suited to play. He's been upgraded from doubtful to questionable.
Is it really any surprise? Is it really any surprise for a guy that played last year with a broken hand?
Yeah.
Obviously, with the All-Star break, some things pop up. Sickness, as we just talked about with Brett, it's going around. It's that time of the year where it's kind of bugs are going around. Sabonis under the weather yesterday, but today back at shoot around and fully participated. And doubtful last night, back to questionable. I would guess that as a pretty good indicator that he's feeling well and could give it a go tonight. But you never know. We won't know until we get to the arena tonight. But I mean, it's hard to keep Domantas Sabonis out of games. And that's a guy who has played in 91% of the games he's had a chance of playing. And I think if he wouldn't have had that freak injury against, I think it was Milwaukee in that first year he played with, or the Suns. Remember he hurt his knee.
It was
Phoenix?
Phoenix.
It was Phoenix.
Phoenix sounds right. Yeah.
Fox is the one who broke his.
Yeah, that's what I
broke
was
his hand
thinking.
again. Yeah, but
Drew Holiday, shout out.
Other than a freak injury, he has played through so many things. The broken hand at the top of the list, but no surprise that he's feeling better tonight and looks like he might give it a go.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if we can just for a second, I mean, just act like he's not going to play tonight. How do you think that's going to affect how the Kings play tonight in terms of more just stylistically? I mean, we know obviously Sabonis is like the hub of the offense. If he's not there, we looked at last year when Sabonis missed 3 games. We don't really pay attention to that second to last game against the Warriors, but they started Alex Len in one of those games, started Rashawn in another one of them. Rashawn had his best game of the season. So I feel like it's kind of tough to take anything out of that. But if you had to guess if Sabonis isn't going to play today, does that mean just more De'Aaron Fox or are they going to try and, replicate some of that offense with Alex Len or Trey Lyles?
Yeah, I think that if Sabonis were not to play tonight, I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox, who has obviously the 2 games going into the break was a different version of De'Aaron Fox. I think he scored 70 points or something like 30 than 40 or something like that. Against the Spurs, it felt like he's been playing very well against them historically. And I looked it up over the past 3 seasons, 30.9 points per game, 6.7 assists, 1.3 steals, 55% from the field, 35 from three. Over the last 7 games against the Spurs, a 5-2 record. And one of those losses was, remember last year there was that kind of weird game where the Kings had a chance to clinch at home and then went to overtime when they lost to the Spurs. Champagne, that's the exact reason. He plays well against the Spurs. I think that they have a tough time matching up against him. Obviously, if Sabonis is out, maybe they match up different defensively on San Antonio's side. But if De'Aaron Fox is the head of a snake and there's not a two-headed snake like usual, I expect his usage to go up and him to take a lot more field goal attempts. But I'm also looking at Keegan Murray. I was writing in my preview today about how Keegan's averaging 10 points over his last 10 games. I think he's due for one of those nights. He hasn't had many of those performances as of late, but I think that when you look at what the Kings need to do over the next 2 months to get where they want to go, you need someone to step up and help Fox and Sabonis. You need someone to be that third option. And we've seen Harrison Barnes do that before. We've seen Kevin Huerter play better, but you need that true guy who can rely on every night. And Keegan's got to be that, in my opinion.
He has to be. I think he is the key to this team, not just for the rest of this season, but moving forward. I mean, he is the one that you have to decide, hey, do we have a big three in the making, or do we need to look elsewhere? And Keegan's a really good fourth option, right? And we bring in not position wise, but just a third option so that you're not putting that much on Keegan. So I think it's incredibly important. One thing that Chris and I have been going back and forth on is just the idea of what the Kings want out of Keegan and how it feels like the first bit of the season, it was Keegan's working on different things. He's getting better defensively. But now that it's go time, do you think they'll continue to utilize him like that? Or could it be more like you said, we need buckets, Keegan. We need you to focus, right? And I know Keegan is better defensively than Kevin Huerter, but if Kevin Huerter is not going to be able to figure out his jump shot, maybe you can use Kevin in that Keegan role, and you could swap them based on who's been hot. Hey, Kevin, you be the guy that guards the best player. You might not be as good as Keegan, but we need offense from somewhere else. And I know for this season, Kevin Huerter's kind of turned into I get rebounds, and we've all been saying, hey, he's really doing other things. That's not why he's getting paid. So how do you see the rest of this season ending up with Keegan, and what you believe the focus for the Kings to be for him and his development?
Yeah, I mean, I think what needs to happen, for us to all feel confident, and the Kings feel confident, is for him to kind of turn that corner and come out of this rough patch and play a lot better. I mean, obviously that's the defensive end is kind of where he's been most impressive this year. We know he can shoot the ball, but the fact he's been able to defend the 1 through 3s, even some 4s in some situations, that's the most impressive thing. But I think when you put that much output on defense, and sometimes we've seen it can take away from offense. I mean, you only have so much energy and effort. And while Keegan, I feel like, is a guy we never see winded, I think that when you're guarding the Stephen Currys and the Devin Bookers, and you're guarding those best players every night, it's gonna take a lot out of you. Yeah. And what I think will happen is if Keegan is someone who is struggling or going through this recent stretch, and if defense isn't really, if it's an offense, if it's a shootout, we've seen Mike Brown do it before, where he will put Kevin Huerter back out there. And obviously Malik Monk has proven he deserves to be in the closing lineup each night. So those are two guys, and that means either Barnes or Keegan are going to be out. I would say that Keegan's probably going to be in most closing lineups over Harrison Barnes, but you never know. I mean, it just depends on what you have every night. And if you aren't going to get assurances, Mike Brown's going to go with guys like Trey Lyles or Malik Monk or Kevin Huerter, whoever has a hot hand. I mean, whoever's hot, you should be going to that guy. And that's something the Kings could do a better job of still, in my opinion. But best case scenario, Keegan Murray comes out of this cold stretch, which we've seen him do before. But we got 28 games to go, and this is the time to kind of find out which guy is going to be a guy down the stretch. And last year, the Kings kind of had an idea of the whole year. There wasn't really many spurts where guys were not really doing their job. Like Kevin Huerter was consistently pretty good towards the end of the year. The middle of the year got a little rough, but at the end of the year, you knew what you had in him. Harrison Barnes was still kind of that 4th, 5th option all year. Keegan was, breaking the 3-point record. Fox and Sabonis did their thing. The Kings need more consistency from all those guys, because right now you're kind of only getting consistency from one player, and it's Sabonis. So that's kind of the issue.
I'm just curious, how do you feel about the way the Kings ended the pre-All-Star break? I mean, I always want to call it. What do you call it? I know, yes, please.
It's tough. My knee-jerk reaction is first half, but it's not. Right. But it's not the first half. I know that's been the whole. It's not the first half.
I know. De'Aaron gets so mad.
It's 2/3. I mean, a lot of people, like even on ESPN, like it's not the first half. I know, but maybe they should move the All-Star break back a little bit. Right. It makes more sense. Why are we having the All-Star break 2/3 of the way through? Yeah. I don't know. But I get it's not the first half. But
yes. How do you feel like the Kings ended? What are your feelings on how the Kings ended the that first stretch there? Because, you look at that. You can look at it two ways. They beat Denver twice, which is great. They have a third opportunity to beat them on the 28th. And that last game right before the All-Star break, it was a unique win for this team this season. Like, they played good defense. They shot like trash, and still held on to win the game. But also, those were they lost 4 of their last 6. Those only 2 wins were against the Denver team, and one of those losses includes a terrible loss that I'm glad me and Alan were in Vegas for, not in the building, against Detroit. Thankfully. So what's your read on how the Kings ended that the pre-All-Star break? Do you feel positively about those 2 Denver results and how they got that last one, or is it still like, I guess it's kind of, just answer my question.
All things considered, I mean, when you look at what was happening and where they were, I mean, that Phoenix game too was one I was looking at, and I feel like in each time they played Phoenix this year, 4 matchups, in my opinion, the Kings have, to me, been the better team. I think they've proven they kind of shot. I mean, not kind of. They could clearly shot themselves in the foot when they blew a 22-point lead with 8 minutes left.
Yes.
That was the game they had in the bag. They dominated that game for 40 minutes, and then they blew it in the last 8. And then even that game in Phoenix last week, they were in control. I mean, I think they had some really good, some great shot making late. De'Aaron came through late when they needed him to, and then it kind of was the defensive end where that's what bit them in the end on that night in Phoenix. 24 hours later, they play great defense. So when you're letting the team beat you one night, you're locking down the next. It's very just kind of like the story of what the Kings are. They're Jekyll and Hyde. They're Two-Face, whatever you want to use, but they need to find consistency and just find out what their true identity is, because they've proven they can be a very good defensive team some nights. They've proven they can be the worst defensive team in the league some nights when you're getting, 130 points put up on you by the Detroit Pistons home.
Love that.
Insane. And then you go lock down the Denver Nuggets on their home floor, the best record in the West, home record in the West. You hold the 98 points. And yes, they were missing Jamal Murray. Yes, they were missing KCP. But we've seen different variations of the Denver Nuggets this year. We've seen them play with KCP and Jamal Murray. We've seen them not play with Michael Porter Jr. We've seen the Kings lose to shorthanded teams all year long. I don't think it matters. They have Nikola Jokic on the floor. Right. They have one of Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon on the floor. They have the depth to beat the Kings. It's not really.
You're not taking anything away from them.
No, you can't. I mean, when you see what happens in the NBA on a nightly basis, there are no assurances. There are good chances that someone's going to beat you on any given night, or that you're going to beat a team with a better record like tonight. We have learned there are no assurances the Kings are going to come out and beat the San Antonio Spurs tonight. But they have to. They should. Because of a game like Denver, it's impressive for the Kings to beat Denver on the road, right? But if the Kings want to be a true playoff contender, they want to get in that top 6, you can't lose to the Detroit Pistons. You can't lose to the Charlotte Hornets. You can't lose to the San Antonio Spurs. You just can't. Not at this point in the year. So I'm looking at consistency. Which team will show up tonight? I'm looking at the defense more so, because we know the Kings can score. Like, more times than not, they're going to be there. But it's going to come down to defense to me. And I think that's really the biggest question mark. They look great some nights, bad other nights.
We will find out what Frankie wants to see from the Kings in the second half when we return on the Kings Roundtable. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
RC Willey has everything for your home, including furniture, mattresses, appliances, electronics, and flooring. With our vast selection, it's easy to find items that fit your style and your budget. We also offer a variety of finance options, including 0 down and 0 interest for 18 months. Whether you're looking to establish new credit or ready to make your space more cozy, we can help. With our flexible finance options, you can easily update your home one piece or one room at a time. Plus, we have a low price guarantee. Let us help you make your home your way at RC Willey.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BC. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
It's been estimated that we lose more than 400 million golf balls globally every year. Hitting it in the fairway is a great way to prevent lost balls, but Golf Magazine's Josh Sen says, we can do better, people. First, play the right tees. The architect designed the placement of hazards for different handicaps. Second, find a reference point. Pick a tree, a shack, or a path where the shot was headed, and keep it locked as you head off the tee. Third, maybe use a highly visible ball. You've got a better crack at tracking your ball if it's the color of a lemon or a tangerine. And anecdotal evidence suggests there's something freeing about knocking around a cartoonishly colored golf ball. 4, do not look away in disgust. A natural reaction to a slice or duck hook is to turn away. As hard as it is to find an errant shot, it's even tougher if you don't know where to look. And finally, be a good scout. Instead of fiddling with your phone, keep an eye on your partner shots. The more time you spend watching, the less time you spend looking. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Doug Christie here. It's Folsom Lake Kia's President's Day sales event. Save on new 2024 Kias with low payments, low finance rates, and zero down deals on approval of credit. Shop Folsom Lake Kia in the Folsom Auto Mall.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Is this the weekend?
Yeah.
Sure is.
Medieval the weekend?
Yeah, because it's the round table.
I gotcha.
I like it.
I gotcha. I was just, I literally, we were just staring at each other as we came back from break, just trying to figure out, wait, why do you have this, Simone?
I mean, I cut it today because I saw you guys were doing the round table.
So you sure it's not in your Spotify? All right.
Is
Just double checking.
what is the nearest medieval times?
Where is it?
Yeah, where is it?
You're looking at the wrong guy.
Do we know?
Like you're looking to like LARP or something? Like, what
Yeah,
do you
Oh, I bet it is in Oregon.
Sponsor-
Ashland. That's my guess.
Sponsor the show, and we'll come out there and do a show there.
Wait,
do the round table at a round table.
At a round table or at medieval times.
Yeah.
Never been to medieval.
You're saying medieval times? Wait, it's like a show, or is it like?
Wait, have you not been?
No, I have no idea.
No,
what
it's
you're
like a
talking
show.
about.
Yeah, there's like an actual there's horses and people on. Apparently, I've not been to it before. But it's like knights on horses and they're jousting and
it's like an arena tour.
It's like an arena. Yeah, it's like an actual thing.
They just have not.
It's not as a restaurant.
Right. Okay.
It is
Okay.
an actual
Yeah, because
thing.
there's a thing in Vegas.
It's a traveling restaurant.
Is that what it is?
No, I'm asking.
I don't know. Does anyone know? I don't know. I've never been before. I only heard about it. I've only heard legends.
All right. King's Round Table. Okay, a little bit of the weekend, medieval the weekend.
Yeah.
Why not? As we were joined by Frankie Cardicelli. And Frankie, we've talked about the specific game tonight with Sabonis being upgraded to questionable whether or not he plays. It feels like it's trending in that direction. But let's take a step back and look at the big picture here for the second half of the season. We'll get your prediction towards the end, but what do you want to see out of the Kings for the last 28 games?
Talked about a little bit before the break, just like finding what this true identity of this team is. I mean, if this is the true identity, it's a little scary, just very volatile and very unpredictable. You just really don't know what you're going to see every night. And I feel like that last year, that wasn't really the case. I think last year, you really can just kind of bank on the Sacramento Kings are going to score 120, 125, 30 points. Like they're going to score a lot of points tonight and do it efficiently. And this year just hasn't really been the case. I mean, like you pointed out, they've been a little inconsistent with their offense over the last couple of games. And looking at just even the last two, 125 points in Phoenix on 51% shooting from the field. Then you go to Denver a night later, you're almost 10% less from the field on 102 points. That's tough. So if you can find consistency there, I think the Kings have proven they can outgun teams. They are able to do that. Because last year they really never figured out the defense. They were one of the worst defenses in the league, but they still made it to the 7th game of a first round series against the Golden State Warriors. So if you can kind of figure out consistency there, I feel like they're going to be where they want to be. And the home heavy schedule, I think, is really going to be important too, as far as you need to take care of business at home.
Who do you feel like, and I hope this is a different question than straight up like, let me ask the question first. Who would you like to see be the most consistent King this last stretch? And I hope that's different than like, who would, whatever. Just again, answer my question.
We've recorded so many podcasts. I can read your, I read your mind. And I'm looking at De'Aaron Fox. I think if De'Aaron Fox can be the De'Aaron Fox we all know, and him just be that consistent presence over the last 28 games, Kings are going to be really, really tough to stop. Like if he is healthy and playing good basketball, and again, the shoulder thing, we'll see how much that actually plays a role. He really brushed it off at practice the other day and made it seem like it's nothing that didn't require imaging. It's not a torn labrum. He was like, I've only heard of labrum injuries. It's not that.
Right.
So I'm looking to see how he can bounce back from this 7-day, rest period and hit the ground running, because the Kings really need him to be at the top of his game if they're going to maximize this year's potential. And that's just the guy. I mean, you know what you have in Sabonis. He's going to keep just blowing up the stat sheet. I mean, you know what you have from your shooters. Kevin Huerter's turned a corner. I think he's shooting 45% from 3 over the past 15 games. He's really been knocking it down. Rebounding, playing solid defense, which I think is kind of under the radar right now. How Kevin Huerter is playing the best defense during his Kings career, which to some you might be like, okay, that's not saying a lot, but it is. It's notable when you're
deflections.
The deflections are there.
All right.
Do you not like deflections?
No, I don't think that Kevin Huerter's defense has been underrated because he's been shooting so poorly. It's the only thing we've been able to talk about.
It's been better though. Like, do you watch the games? Are you a ball knower?
I do know ball.
The effort is there though. The effort
is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying
what do you expect?
No. I'm more intrigued with you talking about him shooting 45% over the last whatever. I want my shot makers to make shots.
Sure.
You have to play defense, but yeah. What do you want? Kevin Huerter to lock down somebody at the end of the game?
I am not saying he's locking down people at the end of games. I'm just saying you can't just be a shooter. You can't be Davis Bertans. You can't just shoot and run around.
We need both.
Yeah,
I think that has been, it's been the Keegan thing. It's been the Kevin Huerter thing. All of these guys, the defense has gotten better. That's why the defensive efficiency is better, but they have not been able to do both. You have 28 games to figure out how to do both.
Yes, which means that's going to go by very, very quick. I kind of am like surprised.
Scared.
It's March, and a week from I think tomorrow, or a week from less than a week. It's leap year. It's leap year, isn't it?
Yeah,
so.
A week from today, February 29th.
Well, look, Frankie.
Happy 5th birthday, Tyrese.
I was going to say
that's right. That's right. We had a lot of fun with Tyrese.
That's why his voice changed
yesterday. All right, here we go again. Here we go, Frankie. I want 2 things out of you in these last couple minutes before we get you out of here. 2 things out of you. The first thing I want you to. We were talking about this yesterday, Chris and I. Just about how exciting this stretch is going to be. And it's been a long time since the Kings have had exciting stretches of basketball for the fans. You had last season, of course, but now you have an opportunity. And yeah, it's not going to be easy, and we don't know how it's going to end. But talk about how exciting these last 28 games are going to be, and how it's basically the playoffs. Every game matters. Everyone complains. There are 82 games. We've made it past the tough stretch. Talk about that, and then give us your prediction for where the Kings end up as far as the seeding. What position they end up in.
Yeah, Malik Monk said it best at practice that every game is like a playoff game, and it kind of maybe like right now it doesn't feel that way, but each passing game is going. I mean, each coming game will feel more important than the last. It's just the way it's going to be. especially when you get into like the tough stretch coming up against, you have the Clippers, you have Minnesota, you have Denver again in the same week. Going to be tough. I'm really looking forward to that atmosphere. Again, it was fun. We've seen a couple Kings late playoff pushes over the past. I think they missed the play-in by 2 games.
Dave
like
Yeager year.
Yeah, like 3 years in a row. Like that year, then like the bubble year, then the year after that. They missed the play-in by like 2 or 3 games. So we've seen them play like not quite to last year's level, but this year it's kind of different. The Kings aren't locked into a top 3. Last year, the Kings, believe it or not, we kind of knew they were going to be a top 3, top 4. This year, it's going to be kind of a furious race to the finish, and I'm looking forward to see how they respond because they did play well in the postseason last year. I do think like late game situations, they fell apart a couple of times. We saw game 4, we saw game 7, but this team has proven they can be that kind of team with that poise. How I think they're going to finish, I really think they're going to finish top 6. I think it's going to be very, very close, but I think that they have enough in the tank. And I think the home heavy schedule, I think they're going to take advantage of it. If we're doing prediction time, I'm predicting they're going to take advantage of that 17 home games they have left. That cushier part of their schedule, which comes up after this rough stretch next week. I feel like that's going to come at a good time, and I feel like they're going to take care of business. I feel like they're due. I feel like for what the Kings have been this year, how inconsistent they've been, they're due to kind of rattle them off. And last year we saw, I think out of the All-Star break, they won like 6 in a row.
Yep.
And they kind of just took off. We'll see if they can do it again this year. Obviously, going to LA on Sunday doesn't really help that case because I'm a little concerned about that one.
Yep,
but,
we all are.
Yeah. I think last time we talked about the Clippers, I told you were being negative, but then they got completely just rolled. So
saying, I don't like that matchup at all. Frankie, thank you so much for joining us. We know you're doing double duty with Brendan trying to get right. So thank you so much for joining us. We will see you tonight. Be sure to follow Frankie on social media. Be sure to read all the great pieces that he has on SactownSports.com. Frankie Cardicelli, Sactown Sports Kings Insider. When we get back, Chris and I discuss metrics of success for the Kings. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Did you know gas goes bad in as little as 30 days? Bad gas can cause rough starts, poor performance, or no starts at all. Stable, America's #1 fuel stabilizer, ensures quick and easy starts after storage. Stable's proprietary formula keeps fuel fresh for 2 years, outperforming competitors. Whether it's your car, truck, boat, lawnmower, leaf blower, weed trimmer, ATV, motorcycle, or anything else with an engine, when you store, start with Stable.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
For John's 60th birthday, his family planned to drive down Old Route 66. But the trip took a detour when his wife got sick with RSV. It's a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems and hospitalizations.
This year, we don't want to cancel our plans. We're protecting ourselves with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine.
Abrysvo, a vaccine to prevent lower respiratory disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. It's not for everyone and may not protect all who receive it. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had an allergic reaction to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may decrease your response. Most common side effects are tiredness, headache, injection site pain, and muscle pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com.
So don't wait. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, because every breath matters.
It was 1879 when the first President's Day was established, and it's been a holiday ever since. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. I'm guessing when the Keys family opened the first Naturewood Home Furnishing store in 1948, a President's Day sale was not top of the mind. But the family probably celebrated the holiday with a picnic and a big slice of cherry pie. The store name Naturewood was selected to reflect the quality of the wood furniture for sale. And that focus on quality continues today with brands like FlexSteel, Trailway, Stickley, Fusion Designs, Stanton, and many, many more. The Naturewood Home Furnishings President's Day sale is the perfect time for you to find the right accent piece for your living room, a new bed for your bedroom, or to completely refurnish your entire home. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's President's Day sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
This segment is brought to you by Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Can metrics of success change depending on situation? We talk a lot on this show, Stiles and Watkins, about metrics of success because I think that everybody wonders those things. If you're a teacher, your students should probably test well. If you are a garbage man, right? The efficiency in which you get the garbage picked up, how long do you take? If you drop off packages for Amazon, if you make burgers, anything you do, there are metrics of success. For the Kings, we all want the metrics of success to be linear, right? And to progress and to move forward. Hey, you lost in the first round last season.
Yep.
Get to the second round this season. That is moving forward. That is progressing. That is a metric of success. But Chris, in a Western Conference that is so loaded, I've never seen anything like it. I'm willing to sit here and tell you today that I would say that if you lose in the first round, it's okay. Because either way, even if you lost in the second round, you have to upgrade in the summer anyway. So, so it doesn't really make a difference to me whether you lose in the first or second round. Monty McNair is going to be looking to do the same things moving forward.
Yeah,
You're not running this group back. So first round or second round doesn't really make a difference to me.
Yeah, 100%. I think we talked about that a bit last week, but the first and the second round are it is tangibly better to be in the second round than the first round, but at the end of the day, you still didn't really have a chance to seriously contend. Like you would not be considered a contender for making the second round of the playoffs. You're obviously a step closer, but like you said, Monty's going to have to make moves and probably the same moves regardless of first or second round exit. So, it's of course better. I'm not saying, the Kings making the second round is actually not something to be excited about, but it's just, like the point of this segment is essentially is you can take smaller victories along the way that might mean more to your success in the future than going to just going to the second round. Like, for example, I mean, we've talked a lot about Keegan Murray, but Keegan Murray, like you were presenting to Frankie there, him figuring out how to balance more of this being really good on defense. I won't say elite yet, but being really good on defense and still averaging 16 points and, hitting 3 threes in a game every single night. Can he figure that out? Well, regardless of if the Kings make the second round or not, if Keegan does that, that's a really good sign for next year.
Yeah.
And there's a couple other things that, I'm sure we could throw out as well that are also signs of progression. And I mean, De'Aaron Fox for sure. I think Kevin Huerter, kind of the same thing as Keegan, just finding a level of consistency with those guys.
If De'Aaron Fox finishes the way he is shooting right now, do you even still do you believe it, or would you have to see it going into next season as far as the threes? Because you've seen, would it make you feel like, hey, great, De'Aaron is a shooter now, or would you still say, oh man, this has been awesome, but I still need to see. Right now he's at 37%.
Right.
So would you say, let's say he finishes, it has dropped, right? So his career, he's 33. So let's say the season ends today. Would you say, I feel like I can put that in the category of De'Aaron being a better shooter, or is shooting a bit different to where you'd have to see him do it next season too?
Yeah, I'd probably have to see him do it next year, and it wouldn't have to be at 37% again, but just kind of still showing, okay, I'm no longer 33. I might be, now I know I had 37 last year or this season, but if he has 35 next year, I still think that's progress. I think that's saying he was a 33% shooter. Now these past 2 seasons, he's been around 36%.
Right.
And it's kind of the same as free throw shooting. Like if you look at De'Aaron's free throw shooting numbers, he was rookie season 72, second season 72, then 70, and then he started getting better. He was 71, 75. Last year he was 78, and that's why the dip this year back down to 70 is so disappointing. You would like to say De'Aaron has improved as a shooter, but I think you would have to still see it next year. But there still are some things that he can do the remainder of this year that can tell us he's definitely better as a shooter than he was previously. And I think we've seen enough to still feel that way, but I think the line is going to be, we've seen De'Aaron be a 40% shooter for a stretch of time. We've also now seen De'Aaron probably be more so towards that 33%. Where is he on that scale? Because that is a very, very large difference from being 33% to even just being 37, 38.
Yeah, I think that he can whatever he finishes at is fine. For me, I'm more interested in how he shoots when it matters. If he goes ice, baby, and he's just bricking it up in the playoffs, then I would say, yeah, I mean, regular season is one thing, but
yeah, when it matters, right?
When it matters, he wasn't able to get it done. Conversely, if he's shooting the lights out in the playoffs, I would be more inclined to say, yeah, I think this is legit, because the lights will never be brighter than the playoffs. Right. So even if they lose the series, but De'Aaron shot the way that we've seen him shoot throughout the duration of the season in the playoffs, I would go into that season and I would put that in the category of De'Aaron is an improved shooter, because he did it in the regular season. Yeah. He did it in the playoffs. If he shoots 38, 40% and then reverts back to who he has been in the past in the playoffs, then to me, we're still trying to figure it out.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And just for reference, he did shoot 33% last year in the playoffs as well. And that was after in the regular season, he shot 32%. So that was about right. But
that's a little better.
Yeah, a little bit better, but at the same time, like, it still wasn't great. And you could also say De'Aaron was probably taking a bit more threes because Kevin, Keegan, HB, nobody else was making threes in the playoffs, and De'Aaron was really their best shooter in that playoff series. So, yeah, that'll definitely be interesting. And Sabonis too. Like, I think a lot of Sabonis's work that still needs to be done. I think we've seen enough regular season success to know what this guy is. He's incredible. Every single night he's going to give you 100% effort. The question with Sabonis, unfortunately, is still the playoffs. Like he's the one who I think really has the most to gain by having a good playoff series.
But it's not even that.
Not even just perception-wise.
Right. Yes,
really.
It's not even that there's, because that was going to be next on my list.
Yeah.
Sabonis, what could he improve at?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we know he shoots the 3 ball at about 40%, but he's only taking one maybe 2 a game. Where can he improve? He kind of is what he is.
Yeah.
He is the product that he's going to be. It's just, do we actually believe that his game does not translate to the playoffs, whatever that means? Or do we simply believe that he ran into a situation with Kevon Looney and the Warriors, and it was just a rough stretch? And I'm more inclined to believe the latter, but we do have to see it. Because what is the book, right? If it's a matter of, or Clayton Kershaw or whoever, Peyton Manning for a long bit of his career.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, this doesn't translate
Right.
to the playoffs. What would be the book on Sabonis that is what you do to him and why it doesn't work in the playoffs?
The rebounding thing was, I don't think that's part of the book. Like, I think that was just kind of an anomaly, and Kevon Looney is a crazy rebounder. So I wouldn't think that that's something that other teams can try and take. I would say the thing that really threw Sabonis off the most in that playoff series was the drop coverage of really when Sabonis is standing at the free throw line or above the free throw line, they just backed up and they said, go ahead and shoot that mid-range jumper. We're going to take away all of the cutters. And they did a good job of protecting the dribble handoffs as well. That's the game is you're just trying to stop everything Sabonis creates, because if you look at Sabonis's playoff numbers last year, which I don't think a lot of the national media did, the numbers are fine. Like he shot, I think he shot over 50% from the field. He still was I think he had 17 or 18 points per game, still had his rebounding averages. It was the assists that really dropped. I think he went from 8 to 5 assists per game, which is pretty significant when you consider how much Sabonis creates for others. I think that's really, if you could say, the book for Sabonis. It's trying to take away not what he does mainly, but more so what he does for others, and then how that then impacts his game. Because if you're taking away what he's creating for Kevin Huerter, for HB, for Keegan, well, then that forces Sabonis to be more aggressive looking for his. He's got to say, oh man, I couldn't do the handoff. Oh man, I can't pass it to the cutter. Well, Kevon Looney's playing like 3 feet away from me.
Right.
It's kind of a bad look if I just stare at the rim and don't take the shot, or if I don't try and go into him. So it's really just making him think. It's taking the reaction offense and turning it into, oh my gosh, option 1 gone, option 2 gone. Let the mind start working, and at that point, that's really where you win. But how many teams can really replicate that? I mean, they can replicate the drop coverage, but how well Looney played in the drop coverage, I don't think that's a guarantee that everybody can do that.
And there's still going to be options too. It still comes down to so many things that have to go right. You have the drop coverage, and then you also have, and then people on the perimeter, the players on the perimeter can't hit shots, because if they're hitting shots, then the whole thing breaks down. And because but that's not what happened with the Kings last season, because
it's been inconsistent all year long.
Yeah, Keegan got cold, and Kevin Huerter, you could not find anybody that was able to make a shot. And so those are the big ones coming from De'Aaron and also from Sabonis. And obviously you have expectations for Keegan and Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter, and ultimately where we think that'll fall and where the Kings will fall is where we are headed next when we get back. Chris and I give our official second half predictions. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Thursday will be bright and sunny with light winds. It'll be a nice day to be outdoors. Expect highs to peak today in the lower 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Live and local.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
You have about 4 teams within a game and a half of each other. No disrespect to the Lakers and the Warriors, but here we go. Suns and the Pelicans both at 22 losses for the 5 and 6 seeds. Then you have the Mavericks with 7 games behind, and then you have the Kings 7.5 games behind. Then you have the Lakers 9.5 games behind, and the Warriors 11 games behind, rounding out that 5 and 6 in the play-in. Chris, ultimately, those top 4 teams, the Kings are a game and a half back behind the Suns and Pelicans, but you're pretty much all at the same point.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just get into it. How do you see? And we had Frankie on record say that they get to the 6th seed. Okay.
Yeah.
That means somebody falls off, whether that's the Pelicans or the Mavericks, and the Kings are able to climb up to that 6th seed. They have 17 games at home. They could go 17-11 to get those 48 wins. Where do you see these Kings officially? This is on record now.
I know.
Where do you see them finishing?
I guess I'm gonna be a pessimist here. I feel like the schedule is really tough, and I will happily be surprised by it, but I just think it's gonna be too tough. Not necessarily to miss the playoffs entirely, but I just think they're probably gonna finish in that 7 or 8 spot, just because I think you said it earlier. It's really kind of 6 teams fighting for 2 spots, and I just think the odds that the Kings play their best basketball down this stretch, even though we saw them do it last year, it felt like not like an anomaly, but it's just going to be tough to replicate. Like we've said it tons of times, but they won their first 5 games out of the stretch. I think Whitey said 11 of their first 13 out of the break. And so if you're saying that you got to kind of replicate that kind of model, I just think that's a bit of a stretch for a team that's got, we've talked about the teams they have to play. I mean, they have the Clippers, Miami, Nuggets, T-Wolves, they got the Lakers, they've got the Bucks, they've got the Knicks. And that's all just before mid-March. Like, I think it's gonna be really tough for them to not play well. I think 48 wins is about like that should be a huge victory. That's a really big achievement, I think, for this team. If they go 17-11, it would be down the stretch to get 48. Like, that sounds good to me, and I feel like just because everybody else is doing incredibly, like, that shouldn't knock that the Kings still played pretty well. It just might not be good enough, and I don't think that's bad. Like, again, like,
so where do you have them?
I'd like a 7 or 8 is where I would put them. I think they're gonna get a home play in, and I will not. I don't have faith in them in the play-in, but I mean, being the 7 or 8 seed, at least you're going to get 2 shots at it, and I would like to think that they would probably sneak in that fashion. But even then, it's sketchy if you're going to say 1 game elimination, and even though it's 2 games, it's still going to be probably at least one of those games is going to be against either the Warriors or the Lakers. So there's going to be a lot of emotions and a lot of probable favoritism heading into those games.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong there. Yeah, I don't know if the Suns hang on to the 5 seed, but I just think you're asking a lot for the Kings to take care of business and for both the Pelicans and the Mavericks to fall off. Yeah. And
or the Suns.
Or the Suns, right? I don't think all 3 of them will. I think the Suns will probably hold on to either 5 or 6. So I can knock out the Pelicans and the Mavs if I wanted to. I just don't see all three of those things happening or four of those things happening. And I would say more specifically, I see the Kings getting very, very close, but finishing in the 7th seed, specifically the 7th seed.
Yeah, and we can't forget here though. We did check last week. The Suns do have the toughest strength of schedule remaining. The Kings, I believe, were number 5 or 4 or 5 on that list. So that's again where I just feel like it's a real uphill battle for the Kings. Actually have moved down to 8th now, so the Kings have the 8th toughest
How does that change?
remaining schedule, because I think we checked like right before the deadline or right before the All-Star break happened. So I think there was like 2 games of the Pistons and they had a couple games they had what was it? Phoenix and Denver were the last 2 games, and so those 2 high win percentages have been knocked off. So
that's big.
Phoenix has a remaining strength of schedule of 564, which is head and shoulders the best record remaining for a team. The San Antonio's number 2 at 535. So Phoenix really has a tough go of it. The Clippers have the 7th hardest remaining strength of schedule. The Kings are 8th at a 51% win percentage for the rest of their team. So it's just not going to be easy. And there's some teams above them. Pelicans are sitting at 12. And who is the other team? Dallas is sitting at 21. So Dallas's remaining strength of schedule is actually below 500. So, I mean, they just have a lot easier path. And, they do have 2 superstars in Kyrie and Luka. So I could see Dallas holding on to 6th seed. I think Phoenix is with the talent they have of Book, KD, and if Beal can stay healthy for this stretch, I know they have a tough schedule, but I think that they're capable of holding their own against those kind of opponents. So I feel like Phoenix and Dallas would probably be my picks for the 5 and 6.
For the 5 and 6.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh my gosh, I just realized that would put the Kings and Pelicans in that 1-game playoff.
No,
Alan, we can't have that.
No.
We have
the
to
Pelicans
avoid
will
that.
fall off. The Pelicans will fall off.
We have to avoid that.
The Pelicans will fall off. You know what? Or maybe they'll be due. Who knows? Yeah, I think the main thing for the Mavericks, as far as it pertains to the Kings, is that the Mavericks, it feels like they have not been whole. The Kings have been pretty whole all season. That's why we don't have that much confidence in this next stretch coming up here, because the Mavericks, I feel like Kyrie has missed a ton of games.
He's missed a handful, yeah.
And not just Kyrie. I feel like Kyrie has missed games. Luka's just been playing with some ragtag people and ragtag players. So that's why I feel like the Mavericks can say, hey, we're getting healthy now, moving into this last part of the season to make a stretch. Pelicans, you're always trying to get healthy if you're the Pelicans. Yes. And honestly, pretty similar with the Suns. The Kings, out of all the teams, I guess besides the Lakers, out of all the teams from 5 to 10, it feels like the Kings and the Lakers have been the healthiest. That's a problem.
Yeah, right.
They've been healthier than the Suns. They've been healthier than the Pelicans. They've been healthier than the Mavericks. They've been healthier than the Warriors. And so some of the Warriors been self-inflicted.
Right.
But I think the Kings and the Lakers have the least to hang on to in terms of, hey, we haven't used this yet. We haven't been healthy yet. Mm-hmm. You have.
And I think I didn't really piece it together, but I do think that's a big reason why I just don't have great feel. Like I don't feel overly confident about this team. I still think they can get it done, but I can't just come. I would love to come on here and bang the Kings drum and be a homer and say, oh no, we did this but it's the fact that they've had all of their guys. They haven't had excuses. They really haven't had many excuses for why they haven't played well this year. And for them to still be in the 8th seed, maybe it's hope. Like Frankie said, you could say they're due, that they've been so inconsistent all year. And that's been a bit uncharacteristic from the team we saw last year, that, it just makes sense that at some point it's all going to click. But at the same time, we've just seen this collection of guys play for 50 plus games. And there's been no consistency at all. And so when you have game one out of the break, we have questions on Domantas Sabonis's availability. It just makes me think, is this the start of what this is going to be like? Because we haven't had to deal with this kind of in and out adversity. Is this going to be the trend for the second half?
What I'm saying, yes. What we're essentially saying is that the Kings should be in a better position than they're in.
Absolutely.
Based on the type of luck, if you want to use that word, that they've had this season. When we get back, we have some text that we want to read. But Chris, you got to go official here, 7 or 8.
7.
There you go.
7.
Chris has 7.
Seed.
He copied me. We both have 7. And we hope we're wrong. We hope we're wrong, and we hope the Kings can get out of the play-in and get to that 6 seed or maybe even better. Yeah. All right? When we get back, continuing the conversation, we're also going to have a conversation about the city of Sacramento and the All-Star game. Do you care that it might not meet the requirements? How do you want to see the city grow as it continues to move forward and become just a great staple here as the state capital? Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Let's go, Sacramento.
Keep it here to Sactown Sports for the Sacramento Kings push toward the postseason.
Get analysis from our local shows, breakdowns from our Kings insiders, and all the thrilling moments from the G-Man.
Keegan Murray scrambles to save it. He gives it now to Barnes. 1 on the clock. Desperate 3 on the way. He scores the triple. Game tied at 121 apiece. 17 for Barnes.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Whether you prefer thrills or serenity, the 2024 Accord from Elk Grove Honda delivers both. With Honda Sensing Standard, the 2024 Accord is once again a winner of the 2024 Car and Driver's 10 Best Cars, making Honda the winningest brand in car and driver award history. Drive a 2024 Accord Hybrid and see for yourself what the fuss is all about. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Hagen Oaks is introducing the hot new Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke line of drivers, fairways, hybrids, and iron sets that are sweeter from every spot. AI Smoke is designed with thousands of real player data and a revolutionary new AI Smart Face for sweet spots across the entire face. Ask about the full line of Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke woods and irons and find your sweet spot at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Sacramento. We know we can help you. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
If they ask me and nobody else cares to do it, bleep it. I'll do it again. Jaylen Brown on competing in the 2025 dunk contest.
Did you see the video of him practicing that dunk that he tried? So I guess he nailed it in practice. It was a lot cooler.
Mm-hmm.
People are saying Jason Tatum sold the throw, essentially.
Okay.
And that's really what ended up doing him dirty. And also, I mean, I think you mentioned it. Why did he have Kai Cenat sit?
Right.
I'm pretty sure he would have been the same height if he was. Just the entire thing was terrible. Jalen, you're not being asked back. It's not happening.
If everyone says no again,
I'd rather have Jacob Toppin. I would rather have Toppin versus Toppin.
What a wet blanket this guy is.
Yeah. If no one wants to do it, at least Jaylen Brown is a name. Come on, give us some.
You want to see that again?
Not particularly, but I mean, I like a redemption story, and if Jalen comes out without the left hand and the Michael
Jackson glove,
none of that this time. Maybe something, but we've been teasing this story for a while now. We want to get into it. This is from Clutch Points, and this is a story on how Wingstop made a lot of money. So this is from Clutch Points. The Detroit Pistons accidentally made Wingstop millions of dollars. Every fan in Detroit gets 5 free Wingstop wings when the Pistons win. Then the Pistons lost an NBA record 28 straight games, and the promotion went viral. On December 30th, the Pistons got their first win in 2 months, and fans flooded Wingstop. The result, Wingstop made $19 million in net income that quarter, a massive 46% jump from the previous quarter, and it didn't end there. In late January, Giannis went viral for trying to scan a QR code mid-game. This is why I can't stand this guy.
It was wild.
To get free Wingstop wings. Then a couple weeks later, he posted a video of himself boarding a plane to All-Star Weekend with a huge bag of Wingstop's lemon pepper wings. The result, Wingstop stock reached an 80% increase compared to 6 months ago. Of course, it's not all because of the NBA, but the free marketing didn't hurt. The Pistons may be the ultimate losers this season, but they created ultimate winners. Wingstop.
Money.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wait, what was the Giannis thing? Was he playing the Pistons?
I can't remember if he's in or not, like if he's in street clothes or if he was in like a warm-up, but it was definitely, the game was over from Giannis's perspective, but he literally has a phone and you can see him like kind of like, bend down so he can see the screen, and he's literally trying to scan a QR code off the bench in the middle of a game, which is it's just wild. It's insane. So shout out Wingstop, I guess, is I guess the moral of that.
Get in where you fit in.
Crazy.
This is
Pistons have only won 8 games. Who even?
They beat the Kings.
Yeah. Shout out Crumble Cookies, of course, and I think
Chick-fil-A
Chick-fil-A,
does
they get a sandwich,
and Mountain Mike's.
I was never good at redeeming those things. Every time I get excited, but it just ends up being a process.
Yeah, you can't put them on layaway. They give you, what is it, about 5 to 7 days, maybe 10.
I think it is, yeah.
Between 5 and 10 days to redeem
it, right?
Yeah, because I did one for one of them,
right?
And I got 5 days, all right, or 10 days, okay, and I just didn't do it.
I remember back in the day at Arco, they used to like pass out the 2 free Jack in the Box tacos like at the door, and I would just stack those things up. Especially
you can't use them all at one time.
No, but you could just, I mean, you could go 5 straight days in a row.
2 for $1?
It was, something like that, and also.
Yeah,
who knows?
I don't think
Jack in the Box meat is crazy.
Okay. It was a different time back then.
Wild.
It was a different time, but they were hidden though.
Guys,
like
I also have that Giannis sound here. If we want to hear him with the QR code,
yes, please.
Oh, speaking of wings, everybody gets wings. Free wings from Wingstop.
I think Kreger made that happen. Look at Giannis. He's scanning it.
He's capturing the moment.
that was in the game. He was not in street clothes.
So he has his jersey on and everything.
Yes.
So that means he probably either he had someone go to the locker room to grab
phone.
My man is also like a multi-millionaire.
I'm telling you, man. This guy is everyone is going to look at him and say, what could have been? He's getting Wingstop during the game. He think it's a joke.
I hope they won. I really hope they won.
Right. It must have been a different. This was not, because at first I thought it was the
win
Pistons.
against the Pelicans.
Okay, so they won. Okay.
At first I thought it was the Pistons were beating the Bucks, and he decided, well, if I'm gonna catch an L,
I'm
gonna catch this
now.
lemon L's for lemon pepper. Let me at least just catch some lemon pepper wings too. Well, there you go. And we are going to hear from right here the 5-3-0, 48 wins this year versus 48 wins last year means the Kings actually are better, right? Since it just seems that the West is better. I could agree with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I could agree with that. It hasn't looked like it.
Right. It's almost on a curve, right?
Yes.
It's like, 48 wins against tougher competition
Yes.
does kind of hold more weight than 48 wins last year when a lot of teams were injured. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely the right way of looking at it for sure.
There you go. From the 916, Kings versus Pels in a one-game playoff. Sounds like Cleveland versus New York in Major League. One day we'll figure out how to beat those guys from Lou Brown. Yeah.
Pelican play. Come on, Pelican.
Yep. I just don't want to see them.
No.
Ever.
Interest, no.
But
absolutely not.
The Kings, they have the Pelicans one more time, right? Or are they done?
Yes. No,
Yeah,
I think it is one more time.
Yeah, they have them one more time. And at that point, could I does this make sense? Could I say that if there is a chance that the Kings could face, here's a good question.
Okay.
All right. So they've now lost to the Pelicans 3 times.
I think it's
4 times because of
let me get that right.
Because of the in-season tournament.
I believe it's 4,
Yeah,
and they have a 5th time coming up. I believe is correct.
There was the tournament game. There was the 2 at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
So it's at least 0-3.
Yep. I see 1. I see 2. I see 3. And I see 4.
1, 2.
Yep.
They've lost 4 times.
Yep. And they have a 5th time coming up. When is that? 5th
April
game?
11th.
April 11th.
So here's my question. Now that we know it's very possible that the Kings could see the Pelicans in the playoff, would you rather, this is to go roulette here, right? Black's got to hit eventually. Would you rather
I think I know where you're
the
going.
Kings beat the Pelicans and now all of a sudden, okay, yeah, you got some confidence, right, going into a possible play-in game, or lose to the Pelicans
Play
and
the
the
numbers game.
odds,
Yeah.
knowing that the play-in could happen, the odds of a team go, I don't even know if it's ever happened in basketball
0-6 is crazy.
before because of the play-in and the playoffs. This could be the first time. The odds of a team going 0-6 against a team has to be so low.
It has to be.
I think I'm willing to sacrifice that win. Is that crazy?
I think if you were to ask math experts, they would probably tell you you're right? Like I think the odds probably would say that, but then again, the Kings have again lost to the Bucks like 15 straight times. So I guess it's not a guarantee, but I think the logic is there for sure.
15 straight times, but not in the same, not 5 in the same season.
Yeah, that's crazy. I would like to get a win against the Pelicans before we play them.
Yes.
But I hear what you're saying. I mean, you could almost say it's like, De'Aaron's free throw logic could apply there too, where it's like, hey, lost to the Pelicans 5 times in the regular season, but beat them when it count, right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying.
It's interesting.
I just don't want to see them, but if you did.
I hear what you're saying. And I think the fact that it's not crazy is telling of where the Kings are in that matchup.
And Bob, they are 0-5. There has never been a team to go 0-6 against another team.
I would not bet on the Kings to not make history in that sense, though.
This is actually a good question, even including playoffs. Has a team ever has a team ever gone 0-6 to where, well, I guess depending on if it's Western or Eastern Conference. So has a team ever gone winless against a team, including the playoffs?
I'm sure. It would definitely. I mean, yeah, it would have to involve a first round sweep, but I'm sure it's definitely happened before. It's just not 6 times before the playoffs even start, though. That's unheard of. But I'm sure that a team has lost every game, like more than 5 games in a season to a team before. It's just
without a win, though.
It's been in the playoff, probably. I mean, because every team plays each other at least twice a year. So it would be those 2 matchups and then just sweeping them in a 4-game playoff series. Like, that's not unheard of. I wouldn't think, at least.
But 5 losses because how many times, this is the first season of the in season. So how many times has a team played another team 5 times in one season?
I don't know.
The Kings actually might make
history.
history.
Yeah.
to go winless.
Yes, I don't want
to for 5 games against the same team.
Yeah, I would guess that.
How would that have happened before?
Time. Maybe beforehand,
when they had like 4 teams in the league.
Exactly, when there was 16 teams or something, but not in modern history. I mean, yeah, there would be no reason for a team to play somebody else a 5th time. Not that I can think of. Yeah, I can't think of a time in which there would have been a necessary 83rd game or anything like that, like a 1-game playoff or something. So yeah, I mean, I think in the worst way possible, the Kings definitely could make history this year for sure. I'm going to try and look that up.
Yeah, I would say that as much as we're joking about, playing the numbers, I do think that I would obviously take the Kings beating the Pelicans simply because that would be the last time you would have played them. You could say, okay, we got over the hump and we know that we can beat these guys. If you don't beat them, you literally can't say we know we can beat these guys because you haven't beat these guys. Right. So as much as you could play the numbers, it would be nice to just get that mental side of things taken care of and get a W against the big bad Pelicans that the Kings just cannot figure out. When we get back, we will discuss the All-Star game not coming to Sacramento due to their requirements. And how does that make you feel if you are in Sacramento, the surrounding areas, or just got love for the state capital? Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave from my friends at Fire Wings talking about Wings Day Wednesday. That's right, 88-cent wings every Wednesday. 3-flavor lineup includes 7 classic, 7 dry rub, and 7 fusion wing flavors. It's the perfect fast casual eating establishment for the entire family. A great place to watch and enjoy sports with friends. 21 delicious flavors to choose from. Save time. Order online for pickup or delivery. Just go to firewings.com or download the app. Find a location near you. Order online. Earn rewards. Fire Wings. Just wing it.
Elevate your drive with Acura of Stockton's President's Day savings. Unleash luxury and precision in a new Acura Integra, RDX, MDX, or TLX. Quality meets affordability with savings on our best selection. Get to AcuraofStockton.com and start your experience today. Own the road in style. Visit us today or go to AcuraofStockton.com. Elevate your drive with Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
The smarter way to clean your floors. It's time to make the swap. Swiffer Power Mop.
Introducing the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one tool that gives you a mop and bucket clean in half the time. The solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket, and the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get deep into grout. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? I need new wipers. No problem. How about Bosch Prime Active or Envision?
Get in the zone,
I know what you're thinking. Why Bosch Prime Active or Envision? They're both designed to minimize glare for clearer, safer driving.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Okay, great. Do you have any special offers on them?
Right now, you can get a $10 bonus reward when you buy a pair.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Offer available to AutoZone Rewards members.
It was 1879 when the first President's Day was established, and it's been a holiday ever since. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. I'm guessing when the Keys family opened the first Naturewood Home Furnishing store in 1948, a President's Day sale was not top of the mind. But the family probably celebrated the holiday with a picnic and a big slice of cherry pie. The store name Naturewood was selected to reflect the quality of the wood furniture for sale. And that focus on quality continues today with brands like Flex Steel, Trailway, Stickley, Fusion Designs, Stanton, and many, many more. The Naturewood Home Furnishings President's Day sale is the perfect time for you to find the right accent piece for your living room, a new bed for your bedroom, or to completely refurnish your entire home. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's President's Day sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and me the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Jiffy Lube, your place for oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. Hey, for valuable coupons and a location near you, visit jiffylube.com.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Maida Chevy has 2.9% APR financing on every new 2020 Ford half-ton Silverado in stock. 2.9 for 72 plus great Maida Chevy savings on new Silverado. Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's try.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Apparently, there's been some issues all day. I don't know if they're still going on with AT&T customers.
Saw that.
Not having service or reception. I haven't had any issues, but I know some people have. I'm seeing some memes about it. So sorry for your luck if you haven't been able to use your phones today. Hopefully you're getting a nice break from everything.
Is it like, have you tried any calls? Because you're probably connected to Wi-Fi, and with your iPhone, that would be okay. But if it's a service issue, that's
I think
a
it
little bit
was
more substantial.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. It came back about 3 hours ago. And yeah, I guess there was just some issue and nobody had service for, or a lot of people didn't. I didn't have any problems.
I didn't either. Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm with Bay and Verizon.
Really?
Oh, Verizon.
Yeah, you one of those Verizon.
Yeah,
folks.
Verizon.
Yeah, I've heard about you guys.
Hello, I have Verizon.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
No, I
You've
cannot
got great
because
service.
I have you muted. Okay, we got another one. We have to actually add these to the list here, as I got Dante Green a couple days ago, ex-King. As far as my lookalikes, we have from the 916, Stiles looks like Kevin Atwater from Chicago PD. Do not watch Chicago PD, so we checked it out over the break. Chris, Simone, your thoughts?
He has a beard.
He does have a beard.
That was beautiful. Yeah.
It's a good beard too. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I just mean
I'm more of a scruff guy.
No, yeah.
I can grow a beard.
No, you definitely could.
Yeah,
you,
no one...
this is kind of mad defensive. All I said was he had a good beard, and then all of
because
now
I'm gonna grow one.
That's why you look like those folks, is what I'm saying.
That's right.
Is you've got a
now
great
I'm gonna
beard.
grow one.
They've got a great beard. You know, yeah. Well, then you're gonna get James Harden. Then it's over.
No, and I don't want that. I no, thank you.
That's not a compliment.
I did
right?
get. Al's got the Harden beard going. Yeah. Or it's just a beard that I grew.
I know, yeah.
It's not even close to as long as Harden's.
No, not
That's
even
what always
close.
cracked me up as well. But thank
you
you,
could probably get
916.
you could probably get a nice. Could you?
I'll show you.
Like, do you have any
videos?
Because you know how like LeBron kind of can't grow his.
No, I will
underneath?
show you a picture during the break from COVID.
Okay,
and that will. It was aggressive.
You just let it go, huh?
I let it
We
go
all
like
did.
frozen. That's what had to happen at the time, and unfortunately, what's probably not going to happen at any time, I shouldn't say any time, maybe in the future, is an all-star weekend in Sacramento. Chris, you have the requirements and how Sacramento, unfortunately, is falling a little bit short.
Yeah, this is all from the Oklahoman, and you could obviously try and connect why the Oklahoman would be interested in these numbers as well, as Oklahoma City tries to bid for their own All-Star game, as they are in the midst right now, I believe, of trying to get a new arena themselves. And we know here in Sacramento, that's kind of always the carrot dangled for these smaller markets is, hey, if you get a new arena built, well, there might be some assurances that you can be in contention to get an all-star game and all the revenue that brings. But again, this is from the Oklahoman. These are the new requirements for cities to meet in order to host an all-star weekend. Number one is 7,250 hotel rooms at a minimum of 3.5 star. I'm sorry, in a minimum of 3 5-star hotels. So they not only do you have to have a minimum amount of just general hotel space, there has to be a certain amount of 5-star hotels, I would assume, for league personnel, players, family, all those people to stay in. And I guess it has to be of a certain quality. And that, just from the Sacramento perspective, I believe the Sawyer classifies as that. I don't think the Hyatt on K Street does.
How?
I don't think it does. I'm not.
These people bougie, man. The
Hyatt. It's good enough for me. That's for sure.
5-star. Yeah, I don't know.
I know Sacramento doesn't have a ton of luxury hotels. I know they're building they're trying to build a ton. Also in here is mentioned the convention center. The Sacramento just got a brand new convention center redone, the Safe Convention Center. I have not been in there yet, but just from the outside, it looks like a completely new building. But part of the NBA's requirements is a convention center of at least 650,000 square feet of exhibition space. And this is from, let's see here. Shout out Alan Cal on Twitter, says the Sacramento Downtown Safe Credit Union Convention Center reopened in the summer of 21 after a stunning renovation. The new convention center offers 240,000 square feet of programmable space. So they are not even close in terms of convention center size to that requirement as well. And then the third is 75 nonstop domestic flights and at least 20 international flights. I would assume that would be ability to come in and out of the airport. I would think Sacramento could do that, but I honestly am not aware of what those numbers look like from the Sacramento perspective. But that's really, I mean, at minimum, it's 2 of 3 things that you just don't even remotely qualify for.
Yeah. Yeah. And the convention center thing, I'm trying to help me describe, Chris, where the NFL did their. I mean, how big? Because I'm just trying to put into perspective how big these convention centers are. If they're looking for 650,000 square feet, where we were,
let me look it up.
In Vegas, the Las Vegas.
It was the Mandalay Bay Convention Center.
The Mandalay Bay Convention Center, where they did the NFL experience. Chris and I actually felt uncomfortable.
It was,
and they packed that thing out.
It was
huge.
And there was people shoulder to shoulder in there.
Shoulder. And it was, and Chris and I only went to one half of it. We didn't even go to the other half.
To be fair, okay, this is insane. So I
just want to know.
This is incredible. The Mandalay Bay is the 5th largest convention center in the U.S. Again, the minimum requirement for the convention center
is it, a milli?
It was 650,000 is what the NBA wants. The Sacramento Convention Center is at 240,000. The Mandalay Bay
is it $1 million?
Convention Center is 2.1 million square feet.
Wow. That's crazy.
I don't even know how to conceptualize
So basically, half of the half that we walked is what the NBA wants.
Yeah, I mean,
which seems small now.
It does seem small now, but I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's insane. And I wonder how many. It'd be interesting to see if anybody has compiled a list of just in general, even if it is 20, like how many cities even qualify under this umbrella, because I would imagine it's not many. I mean, Sacramento is small market, sure, but it's not.
Well, Indiana
it's
had
not
one.
tiny, I guess. But Indiana's also, they kind of are like a hub for that kind of thing. Like they've hosted the combine there for years, and I guess it's because it's kind of perfectly centered in the middle of the country to where it's not too bad for everybody, or it's equally bad for everybody.
To that point, is the issue no football team and no major no NFL team,
right,
or no major college team either.
Right.
You have neither in Sacramento.
And just that infrastructure too, because you could probably make things work. Like I think about, when we were in Salt Lake City, they had, yes, the All-Star game and the festivities were at the Jazz Arena, but they also had practices, and they had the G League game, and they had the HBCU game as well. They had, I believe the convention centers would be used for the press conferences. It would kind of be a logistical nightmare with how Sacramento is currently constructed, because, Sac Stage Gym really isn't up to snuff for something that the NBA is looking to use. So where would be the closest one? Like Davis, I guess. The pavilion's okay. But even that's not really, I think, the standard that the NBA is looking for. And so it's just, I don't know if even the infrastructure for basketball reasons is good enough to be here in Sacramento. But I mean, it's definitely, it's a good dream to have, though. I think Sacramento, forget all of the logistics. Like, I think the city itself would be a really cool host city. I just imagine the entire festivities happening kind of in that Capitol Mall, Doco area. And I feel like it's just a really good location for it.
Yeah, it would be incredible. And one day Sacramento will get there, but I do think part of this is, just right. It's either, it's based on the history, Indiana, or it's just a bigger city and they have a football team and things like that. So it's a combination of things. But I was gonna
combination.
I know Simone's looking
combination.
You're a lunatic.
When we get back, we are going to discuss the baseball free agents that haven't signed and how the baseball market might lead to the light at the end of the tunnel for the NBA market as the Kings look to re-up some spots this offseason. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sactown Sports.
Steps into three. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento. It's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink. Wendy's $5 biggie bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, bag boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys, bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JBC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
If you're like most people, you've had your fair share of financial questions. Questions like, can I afford my son's travel hockey team? What if my daughter doesn't get that soccer scholarship? Will I be able to enjoy golf in retirement? At Empower, we know these questions can be stressful. We're here to help answer your what ifs and empower what's next. Join 18 million Americans and take control of your financial future. Start today at empower.com. Sponsored by Empower Personal Wealth.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support could be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Play and win with rewards that soar at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. Sign up for Sky River Rewards and you'll get $20 free play to use on your first visit. Plus, you'll be the first to know about upcoming special events and offers. Visit SkyRiver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports.
Spring training is underway, and the Dodgers did not miss a beat. They are beating the Padres, who have there's a video going around the Padres having at least 50 dudes in their dugout. I don't know what's going on there, but it's not helping them as they gave up 8 runs to the Dodgers in the first inning. The game is on in here, and Chris and I went through about 2 to 3 segments and realized that they were still in the first inning. So the Dodgers are off to a hot start, even though there are some big bats and big arms that have not been signed yet. Snell has not signed. Montgomery is not signed. Bellinger is not signed. Martinez is not signed. Pham is not signed. Matt Chapman has not signed. Adam Duvall, former Giant, has not signed. 4 of those guys, or a couple of those guys on the list, are Scott Boras clients. And I think what we're seeing here, Chris, is basically teams are saying we're just not going to pay this type of money anymore. Right. And really with the argument was it's not the years, because teams like the years with these large amounts of money because it's lower AAV each season. Right. The salary is lower each season. But apparently all of these guys have something. There is something off with all of this. And every time you say something about the Giants the way that I do, I'm going to be at a ton of River Cats games this season. But every time you say something about the Giants, everybody says, Matt Chapman, why did you sign him? Bellinger, why did you sign him? Blake Snell. To me, I think now everybody is wondering, well, what's wrong with these guys, or what's wrong with this situation? Is it Boras? Who is it? Because if no one else is signing them, are there any offers? It's a really bizarre situation.
It's so strange.
And I think this might be a breaking point. You know, what was it? The Big Short, right? When the market crashed, this might be a similar situation to where all these guys are right on that line of we like you,
right,
but we're not going to overpay. And clearly nobody else is willing to overpay either.
Yeah, and this is definitely more your expertise. So I'm going to ask you some, like with the Bellinger thing specifically, and I know we talked about him earlier, but is this just a matter of you think like Cody Bellinger had a great season last year? I think he won Comeback Player of the Year. Like he wants to be paid off of that Cody Bellinger, and I'm assuming not the guy who didn't he like 2 seasons ago hit under 200 and hit, like barely any home runs. And I know he's had some injury history in the past, but is that really what this is kind of coming down to? And with a lot of these guys is more just they're trying to get every single dollar worth of what Boris feels like their value is, and they're not willing to budge at all, even a penny.
Not yet. And like we said, games are going on right now, and nobody on that side is willing. Neither side is willing to say uncle. And teams are thinking, hey man, if you were worth that money, you'd be signed already. So they're the players are going to break first. The players are going to break first. And I don't know. I think that if you have a complete stud, nothing is going to change. But these more fringe guys, you might see a change in the market there. And how this kind of connects to the NBA is this is what you're hoping for with the NBA. I think that you could make the argument that the fact that besides a couple teams and those really high tier players like OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam, yes, the Raptors got what they wanted for those dudes, but everybody that tier under, nothing happened because, hey, it's the same with the Deshaun Watson thing. Hey, okay, you Dorian Finney-Smith, whoever it is, 2 first rounders.
Yeah, that's
all right.
Ridiculous.
It's not happening.
Yeah,
it's not happening. So I think that it's possible that the league, maybe unspoken, because there's no collusion or anything like that, but unspoken, whether it's in baseball or NBA, they will come together and just say, well, it doesn't seem like anybody else is moving, so we're not going to move either.
Right.
That the Shohei thing. The guys that signed, those were just kind of outliers.
Yeah.
And all of these dudes, hey, you guys want too much. You just want too much.
Interesting. And in general, is there an erosion of like the middle class of baseball? Is that it too? Where it's like, yeah, these guys have.
Well, erosion in that we feel like we can find your production somewhere else.
Right.
Much cheaper. That's the thing in baseball. I mean, there's a lot of money to be given out, but you're either not paying dudes really anything.
Exactly. That's right.
Or you're paying them top dollar.
Yeah, crazy, $30 million.
So unless you are in that upper tier, why am I going to pay you anything close to what I can get from some dude who just came out, you know what I mean, from AAA or AA or anything like that. So I know it's different. I know there's much more player control or player power in the NBA, but I do think it remains, if you do come together, and we'll see when these guys sign, that market can change a little bit. One thing that I also wanted to bring up is that, I hate using the word fair in life, right? Your parents didn't use fair a lot, or they tell you life won't be fair. One thing I saw was that you have players for the Giants and for all teams, right? And what I'm hearing is that this Chapman thing, it could happen. The Bob Melvin.
Yeah, how much of that do you feel like is real? Because we've been hearing
it's real.
Like months now.
I think it's real. I think it's about the dollars.
Right.
Chapman's a guy who you're not getting paid Oakland A's Chapman money. That's not what's going to happen.
Right.
So you have Casey Schmidt and other guys that have been working out at third base.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody say that they didn't think it was fair. And again, this is not Alan Stiles. This is just me reading through Giants social media. They didn't think it was fair that these free agents have waited so long, or that teams haven't signed them, that there's no deadline, because somebody could be preparing, especially how baseball is. It's so bizarre with all the different levels and leagues. Casey Schmidt or whoever it is could be preparing for third base, and then the Giants, he could be at third base during a spring training game. The Giants sign Matt Chapman, and you're cooked, right? Your career is looking completely different. I read that. It was interesting to me, but ultimately,
like you said, not fair. I mean, it's not fair, but like you're trying to win baseball games, right?
So what would be the point of Major League Baseball putting a deadline? You put a deadline, and then it would help the players,
Right, yeah, because
teams are obvious, because the teams can just wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, the thing is, it's just no other league has done it from my knowledge. Like, I don't think anybody has like a hard deadline on, especially not NFL, not basketball. I'm trying to think if there's any, like, I know, in soccer, there's transfer deadlines. Like, there's only certain months in which you can make your transactions, but I don't know. I mean, it's definitely interesting, and it feels like spring training feels like it should be the deadline, at least for like this caliber of player. I feel like, and my question to you would be, at what point is this a detriment to the players? At what point is Scott Boras almost like holding out to, like, he feels like he's doing his job, but at what point is he's doing his job too much and he's actually hurting the players themselves?
That's where we're at now.
Is it now? Yeah.
That's where we're at now. Ryan Williams, Art on the Sack Chat. This is the owners coming together to say they've had enough of Boris's stuff. Overpriced
That's interesting,
and overhyped isn't a strategy for building contenders. Durability and consistency will determine value now.
So that's also something that I was kind of focused on from this thing, and I wasn't sure if I was correct to connect those dots. But the one thing that this A's relocation saga is definitely solidified in me is that owner, especially MLB owners, that's a good old boys club. Yes. Like, those guys are thick as thieves, and they're looking out for each other, hoping that they're going to, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours when you need it.
Yeah. And
I wonder how much of this is, you can use the term collusion, I guess, like how much of this is the owners coming together and making a stance and just saying, no, we're not doing this. We're just not doing this. And I mean, in every other league, I feel like if owners are taking that much power, I think that's pretty scary for a lot of fans of that sport. I don't know if baseball really feels that same kind of thing.
Well, I think I wouldn't call it scary because it's with a specific agent.
Sure.
And
okay.
Boris is trying to play with Looney Tune money, monopoly money
Right.
here. You cannot pass go and collect 200. That's what the owners are saying now. We got plenty of money to pay your guys,
Right.
but there's a line, and I feel like it's just them pushing the line back to say, all right, enough is enough here,
Right.
and we're not going to stand for it.
It's a lot of guys too. That's the thing. It's like, it'd be one thing if it's like one or two, but like the amount of guys that it seems like he's holding out, it's insane. And like, yeah, I mean, the Giants, I've seen a couple articles where it's like the Giants should honestly try and get in on, I think they're calling them the Boris Four.
The Boris
like,
Four, yeah.
You should just, could you offer like, I think the Morris twins negotiated a contract together, obviously tongue in cheek here. You can't do that, but like, could you almost say like, yeah, we'll pay your guys, all 3 to 4 years and, a combined $400 million. I don't know what the number would be,
and just get it done. Yeah. The Snell thing is really weird for me, but again, we're not seeing any of this stuff come out. I just know that
the crazy thing is too, the Giants have been tagged to like 3 or 4 of these guys too.
They're going to get one. I think it's probably going to be Chapman. And, we were talking before the show how, the Dodgers, who talk about monopoly money, they're in another stratosphere. But besides that, the Giants have actually spent the most money this offseason. For all the Giants fans out there that feel like they haven't done enough, and I had people responding to me saying, well, it doesn't matter because the Dodgers are in your division. Well, you can't really go for broke just because.
Just give up then, right?
Right.
Stop playing.
So you're just. I understand what you're saying, but you also have to understand that 2 of those deals that are driving that crazy number from the Dodgers, those were the 2 biggest free agents. That's who the Dodgers got. If you take it with those 2 guys, it's not as ridiculous. And look, the Dodgers have historically always had a better lineup than the Giants, and the Dodgers, all they have is that Mickey Mouse championship throughout this whole time.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole time. So I think myself and Giants fans are more so willing to take chances moving forward. It's not what you want, and it's not a finished product, but hey, to spend the second most amount of money this offseason when all we do is complain about Farhan and not spending money, you just got to take your wins. It's called tiny victories.
Yep.
And that is a victory that I am willing to take. Coming up next, we will discuss the Spurs, everything about Popovich to Wembanyama. and more. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
I started vaping my freshman year of high school, mostly because all my friends had vapes. I wanted to fit in with them and look cool and be a part of everything that they were doing. The hardest part about quitting for me was all my friends still hitting their vapes right next to me. It was really frustrating and confusing when I was trying to quit because in my head I knew I didn't want to do it anymore, but for some reason my brain still wanted it.
No quit story is the same. For free support, text Kick Nicotine to 66819 today.
It's a mystery where Old Spice finds its amazing scents like Himalayan sea salt, but I'm thrilled they have because no other body wash exfoliates and moisturizes 24/7 like Old Spice Gentleman's Himalayan sea salt body wash. Now, if only there was a mountain range separating the Indian subcontinent from the Tibetan plateau where I could hide my Old Spice and keep my family from stealing it, my impossibly smooth skin will finally be safe.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Greg Popovich, you talk about timelines a lot, and Greg Popovich, Chris, it didn't really feel like that timeline made a lot of sense, but he is a great, right? Yeah. And you get an opportunity to play or to coach another all-timer, right? Or a future all-timer is what we think Wembanyama could be. How do you think this whole thing ends, though, with Popovich and Wembanyama? How long do you think he coaches? Do you think he gets to see the finished product? Could be here sooner than you think, or a version of the finished product as he starts to peak. But I'm just not really sure that this is going to match up, and it's not just Wembanyama. You need other pieces. That's why I think we were maybe a little bit surprised that they did nothing at the trade deadline, not for this season, but moving forward. And I guess you could say or ask the question, San Antonio, pretty cool. I've never been, but I heard it, they got the River Walk. And then after the River Walk,
literally at the Alamo, I think is over there.
Is Wembanyama, they were connected to Trae Young. Is Wembanyama the type of guy similar to your boy in Indiana that people would sign up for as far as free agency and go? I get to play with Popovich and Wembanyama and no taxes, no state taxes.
Sounds pretty chill.
I mean, it feels like
yes, the Wembanyama.
Wembanyama. Well, what do you think about Popovich in the timeline?
It's interesting. I just looked it up. How old do you think Greg Popovich is? And just because
74.
I just for context, Bill Belichick is 71. I think Saban and
they're all 72.
Pete Carroll were 72.
Like. Yeah.
Okay. Greg Popovich is 75. He's 75 years old. And it's just like, I mean, is he going to be coaching when he's 80? Like, I have a tough time seeing in the year 20, whatever that would be, 2029. I just don't think we're going to have an 80-year-old basketball coach. I just have a tough time seeing it. And so he'll probably do, next year, it seems like this would be a really weird, just swan song for him to have. I know LeBron said the other day, I might just Tim Duncan it, but I don't think Greg Popovich would Tim Duncan it. I think he kind of understands what he means to the NBA, and I would hope he would kind of give himself that graceful exit. So it's a long way of saying I would say like 3 years. I would say probably 3 years or 2 more years after this. And then I feel like, it'll probably be at the start of like the Spurs starting to make some noise, if you will.
Yeah. And look, we talk about Keegan Murray in that third-year leap. What the heck is Wembanyama's third-year leap going to look like? So maybe 80 is the limit, and maybe he gives him a good 5. And depending on what happens in the offseason, if it's very obvious, and we're going to right now just kind of connect this back to the Kings and Malik Monk.
Yep.
Right. If you get a Malik Monk and you get a Trae Young and you you get some guys in there.
You're starting to build one hell of a 2K team, man.
Right. And
Woo!
now you're 2 years down the road, and now you're messing with the playoff spot. Right. You have a Wembanyama who is now 3 years into the league. I could see Popovich saying, I'll stop at 80. I got 2 years of him being in the playoffs to see where he goes.
Yeah.
And then becoming an advisor and still getting a ring when Wembanyama wins one.
Right, exactly.
That's the path.
I think honestly, it's just a matter of how much Pop can deal with it. Like it's a lot. It's a long season, and I can only imagine as you get older, and the gap between your age and then some of your youngest rookies might be literally like a 60-year age gap. That's kind of a lot. And then just the day-to-day grind of it all. I'm sure he's going to start to pass if he hasn't already started passing off responsibilities to his assistants. But I mean, the answer is he'll be there as long as he wants to be there. Like, I don't think it's going to be a Bill Belichick situation where if the Spurs, I mean, maybe if they don't figure it out with Wemby, if it's like 2 more losing seasons, maybe you could ask to move on. But I mean, he's still a great. I'm excited to hear Mike Brown in his pregame press conference. He spent his first years as a coach in San Antonio, so he always has great words about Pop and always has just great stories. And I think Pop is one of those people who, just like we talk about NFL coaching trees all the time, but just Pop's tree in general of guys he's coached and who have became coaches or just became legends. Everybody has great things to say about him. So I think he's just a guy who's going to be in that job as long as he wants, because he is the model for what you would want in a modern NBA coach.
I have no clue because I'm obviously not in the Spurs organization, but I don't know, man. It feels like Popovich, is he really coaching at this point? He has some really funny quotes where he says, "We stink. We just turn the ball over," whatever. If you gave, I'm going to steal your term here. If you gave the Spurs organization truth serum, if your name ain't Wembanyama, and I'd love to have a Spurs player on Sohan, whoever it is. If your name ain't Wembanyama, does anybody in the organization? I mean, we're talking about Major League Baseball in the minor leagues, and they'll say, and this is why I've always been, even as somebody who didn't get the call, I've always been of the mindset to cut down all those draft rounds, because you're selling these kids a dream, and you're not giving them enough money to sustain a true life, right? They use these kids to get their big boys ready. And it feels like the Spurs just needed a roster to get Wembanyama ready for the next 2 years until
you're going to have the ball in your hands a lot. We're going to start it early.
Yeah. So maybe just get to this offseason, get some guys in there. But it feels like, all right, how many do we need on the roster to just give Wembanyama the ball? Yeah. And maybe subconsciously they actually made a joke about Sohan during the All-Star about not getting him the ball. I think it was Bajemski. It was Bajemski. And then at another scene, Wembanyama goes to throw. Did you see this? A full court shot. And
the dumbest thing
Sohan blocks Wembanyama from the back, which, not to freak out any Spurs, double agents listening here, but that was kind of close to a Brock Purdy situation.
Yes, very close.
What are you doing, brother?
Yeah, not when you got all those limbs and he's not strong at all. It's like,
what are you doing?
His arm in half.
So I think they just needed to find 14 other dudes to put on the roster, and I think Popovich is really just there to work with Wembanyama and Tim Duncan and whoever to get him ready. I do not really think this guy is coming out. I think he's been doing it so long, it's like riding a bike in game.
Absolutely.
But is Popovich staying up late at night to figure out, oh my goodness, how do we make Trey Jones a better player?
Right. No, I don't think
he is.
I don't think so. Yeah, he's probably passed a good amount of the work off, like the really hard work off to assistants. And you're probably right. Like, he probably is focusing a lot on Wemby because he fully understands, if I'm even going to be here I'm not going to be here 5 years from now if Wemby doesn't end up being great. If Wemby doesn't be great, I'm going to want to leave. The Spurs are going to want me to leave, and Wemby will probably want me to leave too. So he's definitely focusing a lot on Wemby. But the funny thing is, you mentioned the Spurs just kind of ragtag their roster together. It's honestly like the worst roster possible to play with Wemby.
Right.
They have no point guards, and that's been the problem all year long.
Well, they got Trey Jones. They've been playing him more.
That's it. That is literally it. I mean, they were running Jeremy Sohan as their point guard to start the year, and it's just like it's a crime to not just in his first season run Wemby pick and rolls until he can't anymore. Like that's exactly what he should be doing. And he should be having a point guard who's only thinking about, how do I set up Wemby? How do I get a lob to Wemby? Oh, if I just throw this up, I bet Wemby will get it. They don't have anyone thinking about him like that. And that's where you mentioned Malik, you mentioned Trae Young. Like the Spurs are going to be one of 5 or 6 teams who have cap space this offseason. I love the thought, Sacramento fandom aside or whatever, I love the thought of Malik Monk playing next to Wemby because I see this fool throwing lobs to JaVale McGee.
Right. He's in the top 3, I think, for pick and roll efficiency.
Yep.
And he's doing that with Sabonis sometimes because he doesn't start. JaVale McGee and Alex Len. Can you imagine that man with Wembanyama? And then they say, okay,
and
let's
he'll
sell
start
out.
too.
Right. Let's sell out on Wemby. And Malik hits you with that humdiddly and he makes the shot and goes up the 3 up, 3 down. Come on, man.
That's a problem.
I don't want to see it.
No.
I want to see Malik stay, but these are real possibilities.
I think that's best for Malik's career too, because again, like Malik's a young dude. He's still got a lot of time to kind of grow into his own. He gets that starting spot in San Antonio. Plus, then every national TV game that what you're just going to get because of Wemby, people are going to say, wow, this guy Malik Monk really is something, whether he's scoring
and
or setting up Wemby.
You get pop.
You get pop too. You're in San Antonio, you're in Texas, so you get all the benefits of all those tax benefits and all that stuff. Sounds like a really good, and again, this is why the Kings, I really hope they're confident that they can sign Malik Monk because there's going to be some teams out there that are, they might not, record-wise or situation, like in terms of, De'Aaron's a good friend of Malik and Trey Lyles and all the relationships he's cultivated here. All that's fine and dandy, but at the end of the day, a starting spot next to a generational talent with a all-time coach in Texas, that's a lot of stuff to try and turn down just because you like the basketball situation a little bit better here. And it's not just San Antonio. There's Orlando, which you kind of have the same tax benefits that you would have in Texas. And then, you still probably get a little bit of starter power as well. Not as much star power, but yeah, I mean, there's going to be some other suitors out there. So I hope the Kings feel very confident in their standing with Malik.
Well, you're going to have to bag him out.
And it's going to have to be some playoff success too, right? That's
right.
Where maybe, honestly, the Kings need playoff success more than anything is to show Malik, like, this is a situation worth staying.
And not just that, okay? Again, going into next season, the Spurs are going to get better. That's another team that you have to worry about. And the Grizzlies are doing the Warriors thing to where they're going to sink this year, hopefully get a top pick, and then be back in the mix.
Yep.
You cannot, if you are not getting better, you are getting worse. When we get back, prop talk for the last third of the season and the first dog segment for the last third of the season. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. Laporta's over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back. Not going to get out to his right. Being chased. Throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down. Again!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Whether you prefer thrills or serenity, the 2024 Accord from Elk Grove Honda delivers both. With Honda Sensing Standard, the 2024 Accord is once again a winner of the 2024 Car and Driver's 10 Best Cars, making Honda the winningest brand in car and driver award history. Drive a 2024 Accord Hybrid and see for yourself what the fuss is all about. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Hagen Oaks is introducing the hot new Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke line of drivers, fairways, hybrids, and iron sets that are sweeter from every spot. AI Smoke is designed with thousands of real player data and a revolutionary new AI Smart Face for sweet spots across the entire face. Ask about the full line of Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke woods and irons and find your sweet spot at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. A group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment. 916-520-9990.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Zone 1 report.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jake Owen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Could change some things. So let's see how we're feeling here. Chris Watkins, you can lead it off if you want.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just looking at Wemby numbers. I'm actually shocked to find that Wemby is averaging 20 and 10 already. And then you factor in, I believe he's leading the NBA in blocks per game, somewhere near 2.5, if I'm not mistaken. Right now his points is set for 23.5. That seems pretty high. 10.5 rebounds. I'm thinking about maybe the under there just because we've seen Sabonis just murder people on the boards.
But here's my thing. It's just a video game. Sabonis, you don't think he drops at all due to he's still sick.
Right. He could. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's definitely the risk of it. Like how much he'll even play too. Even if Sabonis does play, is it going to be 30 minutes? It's a bit sketchy for sure to try and bank on that. I'll probably look at De'Aaron. I think I'll go with De'Aaron. I don't know what his points are at here. Let me see. He actually doesn't have any points listed right now. So
I'm seeing 25.5.
I'll take that then. I'll take De'Aaron over 25.5. Just again, he had 43 last time they played San Antonio. Played really well to exit the All-Star break. Had some rest. He's now acknowledged his shoulder injury. Not that has anything to do with it. Just wanted to throw that in there. And I'm going to take De'Aaron over 25.5.
Okay, Simone.
I like it.
Who you got?
What does it say for you guys? I'm seeing 23 for Victor.
That's I saw 23.5
okay,
for Victor.
23.5. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me the under for the French phenom, please.
Wow. Okay.
Shutting it down.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I am of the mindset that the sickness is a real thing.
Sure.
and I just can't see him being exactly the same Sabonis.
Sure, as effective.
So because of that, I'm going with Kevin Huerter
Okay.
over 4.5 rebounds. I think that Kevin is going to be cleaning the glass today.
You cracked me up.
What is so funny?
You just wait for Nate to leave, man. That's it. You just the second Nate's not in here.
Tell me the tea. What's the tea?
No, Nate just
No,
doesn't.
but you know what?
We just don't allow Allen to pick Kevin Huerter because every time he picks Kevin
these are
Huerter,
points.
it doesn't work.
But these aren't points, though.
The Reebs.
These are rebounds. It's different.
Okay.
No, fine. I'll do something else.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Don't be bullied.
Fine. And honestly, it was dog segment. I could not pick him for the dog.
Gotcha.
That's what it was. So Kevin Huerter, 4.5 rebounds over. You have De'Aaron Fox and the points over 25.5. And Wembanyama, 23.5 under points. That is from Simone. Let's get into the dog segment.
Okay.
It's been a while. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. Well, I'm not going to pick Kevin Huerter for the dog because I know how you've been treating me lately. I'm actually going to go with Keegan Murray. And I feel like I've kind of been doing the same thing with Keegan Murray as far as picking him and him not really doing too much yet.
Yeah.
But one of these days, he's got another big baller game coming up, and I think it's going to be tonight.
I like it. You know what? I'm gonna stay with the forwards. I'm gonna go with HB. Yes, I forgot about that. We looked at how the Kings performed last year without Sabonis. Not that Sabonis isn't going to go tonight, but on the off chance that he's even limited, like you said, even if he's playing, doesn't mean he's not sick or not still feeling the effects of said sickness. HB is the guy to step up. We talked about his numbers yesterday, more so getting to the free throw line.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the numbers last year, HB did step up a good amount of times when Sabonis wasn't going. And, after a long break, I'm hoping HB feels refreshed and ready to go. We saw what he did game 1 of this season. Let's hope that he can replicate that performance game 1 outside of the All-Star break. I'll say 20 points for HB.
For HB.
For H-Bizzle. H-Bizzle will be in the hizzle.
Well, I got Keegan over 20. Simone.
I was going to go with Mr. Monk, but I had a change of heart.
Mm-hmm.
This is for all the Trey Bays out there.
Okay.
It's going to be a big Trey Bay night.
Yeah.
Definitely going to go on the over. And I'm thinking 11 hot ones from that young man tonight.
You know, that's
going to be an absolute menace.
The show has basically come full circle because we talked about the Kings running that small ball 5 with Sabonis being out. Even if he's limited at all, and the idea of, let's just put another big man because there's Wembanyama, maybe you're better off with Trey. Let's get a little physical with him down low.
Exactly.
And push him off of his spot. So Simone has Trey Bay and the Trey Bays, Trey Lyles doing his thing. So I got Keegan over 20, Chris with HB over 20, and Trey Lyles. Ultimately, these guys just got to win. You got to win.
That's really all that matters.
You have to.
You just got to take care of business, and it doesn't matter how it gets done. Doesn't matter who's the best player.
Does it? Well, hold on. It doesn't matter how it gets done.
Doesn't matter if you win by an inch
you
or a
say
mile.
that now, and we're going to be on the show tomorrow, and you're going to say, I wish they would have just taken care of business.
I wish they would. I absolutely wish they would. I wish they would win by 20 so that they could make this 4-game stretch after a whole lot easier. But at the end of the day, beggars can't be choosers, and I will take a win over a hard-fought loss in this situation.
No more moral victories in the last 28 games.
It's got to be a really good moral.
Yes.
You got to learn some really good things.
It's not going to be against the Spurs.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I was kind of feeling in overtime. That's kind of like my
come on. Why would
Simone?
I know I'm not supposed to
Oh
say
my
that,
God,
but it
come on.
might
We got stuff to do.
You just manifested it.
I know.
We have stuff to do.
Yeah, for real. We have a show tomorrow.
We got a show tomorrow.
Could you
We got to
imagine?
drive.
Could you imagine?
No, I can't imagine. I honestly can't. I honestly can't imagine that, and I'm not going to imagine that.
Oh my God!
This is not going to happen.
Now it's going to happen.
No, it's
going
not.
to happen.
No,
now,
it won't.
No, it won't.
Actually, already.
De'Aaron's dropping a 50 burger.
This is going to be so cool. You guys are going to go tonight. I'm watching my puppy, so I won't be able to see him, but this is going to be so cool to see Wemby.
To see Wemby?
Yeah.
I would like to.
I'm excited.
Somebody is saying I have to redo my picture with Cam Newton.
Stop it.
But with Wembanyama, Chris is leaving. He took his headphones off. But with Wembanyama, my goal is to just keep getting further and further away from the camera with different people. That's the goal. Final thoughts.
Is this a fisheye
We
lens?
have to make that happen. We have to make that happen.
We have to. Well, now it's not Radio Row. I can't, we can't ask for pictures anymore. These guys got a game to play.
Oh, it's just going to be blurred out in the background.
Who is that? Is that actually you? We can't see you. How's the weather down there?
That's a guy from Chicago.
Oh, wow. What's Kevin Atwater doing with Wemby? Aren't they filming?
Oh, my gosh. Is Donald Glover in that new Leonardo DiCaprio movie?
I love his new show. I love Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Final thoughts on the first half, favorite game, favorite moments, and we revisit expectations for the rest of the season when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk. Are you ready for the deal of a lifetime? This week only during the President's Week sale, get ready to rev up your savings at Elk Grove Kia and elkgrovekia.com. The doors swing wide open every day at 9 a.m., and we're unleashing the biggest selection of pre-owned and brand new vehicles you've ever seen. With so many options to choose from, you're sure to find the car of your dreams. But hold on to your seats, because here's the best part. Our prices are slashed to the bone, and they're so incredible that we can't broadcast them. You have to come down and see for yourself. Don't wait. This is a 1-week only event. And to make it even better, you can drive away with your dream car right on the spot. No waiting, no hassle. Just instant delivery right on site. Remember, the President's Week sale happens this week only at Elk Grove Kia and elkgrovekia.com. Doors open at 9 a.m. sharp. Elk Grove Kia, where the biggest savings and the hottest wheels await during the President's Week sale. Only at
Elk Grove Kia.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-220-6697 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-220-6697. That's 800-220-6697. What do you have to lose? Call 800-220-6697. Again, 800-220-6697.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Maida Chevy has 2.9% APR financing on every new 2024 half-ton Silverado in stock. 2.9 for 72 plus great Maida Chevy savings on new Silverado. Online at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's try. Our 2.15 finance with finance with GM.
This is Sactown Sports.
You have 28 more games to decide the rest of your season for the Sacramento Kings. After one of the most exciting seasons in the history of the Kings, you come back, you run it back with the same guys in a stacked Western Conference, and you have an opportunity. But how it ends, that remains to be seen. Before we give our final thoughts on how we think this season's going to end, and by the way, I like to call myself out. I sat here in this chair at the beginning of the season. I thought the Kings were going to be a top 3 seed. We can do all this when the season's officially over. But, yeah, I thought they were going to be a top 3 seed. So I was wrong there. But the good thing is you get another chance to be right in the second half. I'm looking, Chris, at all of the games, and it's hard to pick one. If you could pick one from the first 2/3 of the season as your favorite, just your favorite game.
That's interesting.
Not the most impressive, anything like that. I think mine is pretty simple. Mine is pretty straightforward. It would be the Kings beating the Warriors to get into the in-season knockout. Being down 20, yeah. I mean, that was great. Off the top of my head, that's probably my favorite game. My favorite moment was the Malik Monk dunk against the Suns, where I was caught on camera with our guy Scott and my wife, and we were caught on camera in our amazing seat. So that's my favorite moment from the first 2/3 of the season, and that was my favorite game.
Those are two really, really strong choices. I think I'm going to go my favorite game. It might have been, it feels wrong to do a road game. I'm thinking that Minnesota one right after Thanksgiving. I just remember, the day after, just kind of watching it and being like, I cannot believe that this team is playing this well against these guys right now. I think I'm probably actually going to go with the, I was just looking at it. Where'd it go? Oh man, I lost it.
Cavs?
It was not the Cavs. Oh man. Sorry. I can't remember. I'm just gonna go with that Minnesota game. I'll go with that Minnesota game. It was really, really fun. It was on the road. Oh, Keegan Murray. That's what it was. But that was gonna be my favorite moment.
Yes.
Was that Jazz game? Keegan scoring. Oh, what did it end up being? Was it
47?
That's what I thought.
Like that.
47 sounds right. But that game from Keegan Murray, that was the only game I've been to this year, or really in the past couple of years as a fan as well. So that was just a really incredible moment, obviously for Keegan, but selfishly for myself too, to just kind of be a part of the crowd as Keegan was going crazy, as he just kept hitting 3 after 3 after 3. What was it? 10 straight in a row.
Yeah.
That to me was the moment of the season for sure. And hopefully there's another version of that, because we really haven't seen. I mean, he had a 30-point game, I think, since then, but we really haven't seen like a massive Keegan Murray explosion like that.
It's tonight. It's tonight.
That's
and
right.
If it's not tonight, it's not tonight. It's the next night, or the next night, the next night.
Oh, Orlando Magic was the other game I was going to.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
That was a great. That one I wanted to pick that one.
Say that for you.
Yeah, I was going to pick that one, but Simone and her obsession with overtime, I figured that she would pick it herself, so we would take care of that. Simone, any favorite moments from the first part of the season?
This one was really back in the day. Do you guys remember? It was back in October, that Lakers game.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
a lot of
in.
fun.
Was that in? You're talking about the one in Sacramento or the one in LA?
Is the one here in Sac.
Okay. Yeah. There's the one in. When Fox was injured,
yes,
when Fox got injured in that one.
Right.
Oh, again,
Wasn't
surprise,
that
surprise.
overtime?
That was overtime. Simone picked it up.
Simone's got a type.
Simone loves a good overtime game because she's at home, not stuck in traffic as we're trying to get back.
That Lakers game was great too.
That Lakers game was outstanding.
Great taste.
And that was off the heels of losing to the Warriors, and that could have got a little bit dicey just to start the season. I also have the Laker game that was on national television. We were watching it at Sac Yard, and we were enjoying ourselves. And to watch the Kings do that, that honestly, that's actually pretty high up there for me, because that was what we go to the game so often as I'm trying to become a Sacramentan. And be a part of the culture and go to the different food spots and things like that. That was really my first time watching the game out.
Yeah.
And not at a game and not at the game or at home or whatever. So to be amongst my fellow peeps, right? And for them to do it against the Lakers, national television, and really the announcers were a bit stunned. They didn't know what was happening.
No, they had just prepped all Laker stuff.
All Laker stuff. And so that was honorable mention for me as well, as we get in now to the second part of our predictions, right? All right. The first one is out the window a little bit. I guess you could still, your final prediction of how it ends could still be in the running depending on what it is. But as far as where they're finishing, don't see the Kings getting a top 3 seed. So I am out on that. How do you see this thing ending?
If I had to put my stamp on it, I would say, right now it's definitely trending towards a first round exit. I would say 6 or 7 games, but I think I'm leaning more towards 6. And, I think it's gonna hurt, man. Like no matter what, if they lose in the first round, there's going to be a large, loud majority of people that are going to say, what a failed season. This is what happens when you run it back. I just hope that kind of the things we were talking about earlier end up happening and are things that we can point to, because if the Kings do lose in the first round and, some of those, De'Aaron Fox not really establishing himself as a solidified shooter, or Keegan Murray not figuring out defense and offense in the same game. Like if those things don't happen and they lose in the first round, it's going to be tough to try and over summer, talk people down. And because, frankly, it's going to be a tough playoff matchup no matter who they go against. So I just feel like right now, first round exit, and I think it's going to be scrappy, but I think at the end of the day, it's going to leave people wanting more.
Yeah, and It's really just what it's been this whole season as far as expectations. You don't have to get out of the first round for it to not be a failure or regress or whatever, but how it ends matters.
Sure, right.
If it's just, man, they went up against the T-Wolves or they went up against whoever, and they just it was a really great matchup, but the Kings just didn't have enough. We know, and where they didn't have enough was where we expected them to not have enough.
Right.
No offense, but HB or Kevin Herter or wherever, or Keegan gets a little bit cold because he's been chasing around Anthony Edwards. That is cool.
Yeah.
If it's Sabonis doesn't show up, De'Aaron Fox doesn't show up.
Yeah. Like the Clippers just run them 4 straight games or something. Yeah.
That's a problem. So it doesn't have to be. The second round, but it does matter how it ends if it ends. So you got a first round exit. Yeah. So you'd have to get in. You'd have to win the play-in.
I think they're going to win the play-in. If I had to guess, I think they'll probably I think they'll probably lose the first play-in game and then win in the very last one. They would get it in Sacramento. That would then be an 8 seed as well.
So then you would get, as of right now, the T-Wolves, which at least you got to win against the T-Wolves.
Right, exactly. And that's not a terrible match. Like, I think OKC and the T-Wolves, I wouldn't be completely shocked if the Kings pulled off an upset.
And you're not the only one. And that's why I was surprised with the whole LeBron ankle thing. Yeah. But I think just like we talked about earlier in the show, the Warriors, the Lakers are thinking, and how many times will we have to hear prognosticators and everyone say, well, it's a 7 seed, but Steph and the unproven Thunder, I think I got Steph. Yeah. Well, it's LeBron
and AD.
LeBron and AD against the T-Wolves. I do like Cat, but you know what I mean? So I think that everybody is just feeling, and I think that's a separate chip that the T-Wolves and the Thunder could have on their shoulders. But I think everybody is feeling, hey, this isn't the worst thing in the world for this new blood to be at the top because we feel like we have a chance.
And that chip is probably a little bit smaller going against the Kings, right? Like, it's kind of tough for OKC to say, oh, the big bad Kings. Exactly. Everybody's picking the Kings. It's like,
yes, because nobody
really?
I don't think anybody would pick the Kings.
Right, exactly.
I think everybody would pick your boy Shea and his cool outfits. Absolutely. And Karl Anthony Towns and his 14 voices and podcasts. And that's who they would go with. Okay, so you got first round out. I'm going to stick to what I said at the start. And I'm going to say that somehow, some way, they get to the second round.
Wow.
I had them top 3 and losing in the second round. Even though I was wrong on that one, I'm going to try to bat 500 and have the Kings getting to the second round. Yep. No clue how that happens. It probably won't happen if they continue to be the worst free throw shooting team in the league. But assuming they turn that around, I think the Kings would be able to get it done.
It all starts tonight.
Simone?
It's tough. It's really tough.
Not easy.
I'm going to go with my heart, though. I am feeling the number 6. For some reason, I feel like we could get up there.
You can get the 6th seed.
Yeah.
But then what happens?
Another heartbreaking first.
Both of you?
Exit. Yeah.
Both of you.
I just think they're going to run into some barbed wire somewhere. Someone's going to really cause fits for them, and it's just going to be an insurmountable mountain for them.
Well, I hope that's not the case. But ultimately, whether they get to the second round, that's more of just a mental thing, and it would feel good for the city of Sacramento versus it really changing what happens in the offseason. It's not really going to change what happens in the offseason. And we know one thing that's also not going to change. This 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. slot, we will be back tomorrow to continue to talk Kings and to react to whatever happens tonight against Wembanyama and the Spurs, whether or not Sabonis plays, and to see what De'Aaron Fox and the crew have in store. The Drive guys are up next as they get you ready for the game. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Thank you to Simone. Thank you to Frankie Cardicelli. And until tomorrow, secure the bag, like the beam.
Sacramento, where you at?
Move. Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a